Yeah.
Hello and welcome everyone here. We are going to get started now with the Helio Division finals. And I have with me a couple of guests. And we are going to start off with the top. So, who is representing the number one seed Team Outcast? Who are
That
you?
would be Black Rose.
Black Rose. Now, okay, Black Rose. And who is representing then Claptrap?
That would be aileron roll.
Aileron roll. Okay, welcome, gentlemen. So, uh, both of the teams' semifinal matches last week, because of the patch and Riot's lovely system, seemed to get dropped, and the one I did get had a bunch of visual issues. So, no one actually got to see either one of your teams' matches. So we're just gonna first. Well, I mean, we're just gonna go back to the top here with Outcast. You're the number one seed. Who did you go up against? And how many games did it take? Was it pretty epic?
We went up against the Smiting Kittens, and it was a pretty epic game. The first game we kind of just got stomped on because our ADC had some problems. The cat jumped on his lap, hit his mouse. The sun was in his eyes, and so it kind of just snowballed from there. And yeah, it wasn't pretty. But the second and third game we came back, and we took it home. So it was pretty good.
Pretty good. Now on the side of Claptrap, how'd you guys do, and who'd you go up against?
Well, we went up against the excuse me, the Extreme Pirates, which we faced a couple of times during the Vantage League seasons that we've played them. And the first game was very competitive. But we ended up pulling out the win on that one. And the second one, we just fired on all cylinders and got that W with only 3 deaths on it. So it was a testament to what my team has accomplished.
So as the number 1 and 2 seeds going into the playoffs from the division, both these teams probably were expecting to see each other in the finals, as I can assume.
I honestly thought that we would see Claptrap, just because I know their mid laner, and he's fairly good. So I was looking forward to seeing him in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Team Outcast is one of the best teams in Vantage League right now. Looking forward to this, and kind of, to be honest, kind of scared and hesitant, but now I'm kind of excited and anxious to face off against them. So
now we've seen a lot of both of these teams during the regular season, and the growth and improvement as you guys, like I said, did finish off with the 1 and 2 seeds. Do you guys have a particular style that you want to play? I mean, I know you've seen a lot of each other already, and you guys have looked each other's up. Is there a particular meta maybe in this division that you can talk about? I know last night in the Galactic division, Caitlyn was an instant first lock pick for all 3 straight games. And in this division, if I'm not mistaken, it's a lot of the AD carries seem to favor Misfortune. Or is that one AD carry, and it seems like every game they're either picking it or banning it?
I can honestly say that our ADC for Team Outcast, he hasn't been able to play Vayne. Like, that's an insta ban. Same with my my Cassiopeia for mid. So I mean, we kind of just have to, whatever like we come up with, and we kind of just base our picks and bans off of what we know from the past and what they pick. So it kind of just on the fly type of deal.
yeah, I mean, for us it was like every time our jungler picked a Mumu, it's always going to get permaban because he's just amazing with it. But for us, it's just, I think that the meta right now kind of favors tanks on the top lane and kind of a carry on the jungle. and we kind of really adapted that this season. So
Now that's really good. Now I'm not exactly sure. I think Team Outcast, you had a couple players on other teams last season advantage. That was correct. A couple of your guys.
Yeah, myself and Pink Rose, we played for Disadvantaged Leaguers last season.
And did you? I'm trying to remember back. Did you guys win your division?
No, we lost it to
Hellkites, right?
yeah, the Crimson Hellkites.
Crimson Hellkites, yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. And Claptrap, Alien Roll, you guys were in the same division, correct?
yes, we were.
Okay, and I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing you guys in the playoffs as well. So there's some familiarity going back more than just these past couple of weeks here. We got people on both teams here that have been seeing each other for almost 4 or 5 months in different metas and different versions. Do you think that is going to play any aspect into tonight's games?
I think we will. I think we kind of been here so long that we've kind of know all of our play styles. Like the top laner is really amazing with like Shen and stuff like that, and but I consider this like more of so.
It's playing against Claptrap like in the past and from like last season. They've definitely changed their game style, and they've definitely gotten a lot better from last season, which is really fun because they've pretty much just they've been our rivals because we knew that they were going to be the hardest challenge to surpass, and so far like they haven't proved us wrong or anything. And the fact that we're in the finals now with them, it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we met, like during the regular season, pretty much an epic slugfest, and I'm really, really excited to have that epic. And so,
yeah, I like seeing kind of the epic storylines. Last night we had the battle of Gelati and Hurtis, and they've been in advantage for a while, duking it out in the Galactic Division. And it's nice to see that the same type of storylines occur down the line here and going through the division. So if we're looking at if each of you if you each have to pick one person from your team to maybe be the standout of one game or one series, if they can, step up time, it's the final championship, who's the person that's going to step up? Just from Outcast first.
From Outcast, I really think that our support is gonna step out because he's been pretty good about the kill stealing and just making his KDA almost the best in the entire Vantage League. So I think he's probably gonna pull that out for the finals and just take all the kills from the ADC, and he's just gonna carry our team, honestly.
And then from
this is going to be very difficult because each and every single player on my team is absolutely amazing. But I kind of want, kind of expect my ADC, CG Wedham, to really stand out in this one. I think he's just an amazing ADC who really just sometimes just carries our team to victory most of the time. So, but again, like this is really hard because our mid laner is such a great mid laner. We actually picked him up this season, and then our support is one of the best supports I've ever played with, and and we've had to cycle through junglers, but each and every single jungler that we played with is just fantastic. So but again, I think it would be really good to really have this stand out to be our ADC. I think he's gonna knock it out of the park these games.
Now, I know this is kind of a side question. Are there any Vantage employees on either one of these teams playing today?
There was, but he left earlier this season.
Okay, was that? I was about to say. I thought one of the teams was that on Claptrap. Was that the jungle?
Yes, it was
Yes.
marked, but due
Yeah.
to other obligations, he couldn't
Yeah.
continue with the team, and we're really sad about that. But
Yes.
hopefully he's out there watching this right now.
Hopefully he'll be able to participate. So I know that a couple of Vantage employees do play into the division. So just wanted to make sure that we didn't get any homerism for any of the peoples trying to kiss up and show respect to the organizers here. I just want to make sure I didn't put anyone down or say anything. I was like, oh, they shouldn't have flashed there, and be like, oh no, maybe you shouldn't have said that. So I look forward to a good match here coming back into the Helio division after watching a bunch of your games during the regular season. Now, real quick, Outcast, you guys used to all have Rose names. Did someone change that?
Our top laner, Blue Rose, his name is $3 Bill now.
I
He changed
knew it.
Super.
Yeah.
I was like going through the history sheets, and I'm like, oh, Blue Rose. I'm like, did he quit or did they get a new player? Okay, so we have Blue Rose is $3 Bill. Okay.
Yeah. He changed his name to $3 Bill so he could have another play on name with some of his other buddies.
Oh, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that I got all my ducks in a row here. So, you guys, it's the top of the hour here. Probably are going to start making up the room here and getting everyone in line, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to let the two of you guys go so you can go and review, get your game plan set up, pick bands, make sure you guys aren't missing out on anything.
Alrighty, man.
Give your final shout outs, and I will be seeing the winner of the match at the end. Good
Cool.
luck to
I
both.
just wanna shout out to my mom because she helped me and supported me through everything. And I want to shout out to a couple of my buddies that I work with, Cox and Edelman. Y'all supported me and telling everybody at work that I play. Shout out to my niggas.
I just want to give a shout out to my team, just everybody who's worked so hard for this. I really appreciate each and every single one of them, and I hope to have them back next season for this team. So just shout out to my team. They're absolutely amazing players.
Super. That's what I like to hear. So good luck to both players and both teams here. And while they get the room finally finished up and put together here, we're going to just put a little bit more music, and hopefully we'll get into pick bands here quickly.
All right, thank you for having me,
Thank you, sir.
and good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck to you, man.
Thanks.
Okay, and I am back, and I have been joined by my co-caster for this evening, Sticks and Cross, buddy. How we
Hey there,
doing?
guys. I'm doing fantastic. Had a pretty good day of solo queue. I'm just excited to cast this final game here.
Yeah, getting pretty pumped up, I believe, for yet another epic finals. Real quick, as they look like they're just finishing their little bits here and picks in the lobby here. The performance last night. Are you feeling okay? Like, it was rough, I know, going down.
The game 3 there was just very rough. 2 was very, very good at snowballing his leads, especially when he's on Darius. It's why he consistently sits around High Diamond Masters with that champion, with specifically Darius and Rumble. So that's why we were taking the Rumble away. But the last game, it just got snowballed by a really good group of players. I feel like the other 2 games, the level of play was really high overall, so I can't really complain. And I'm pretty happy with how I played. I felt like I had pretty good performances on Karma, and I was just really happy to be in the finals.
Yeah, I've rather enjoyed spectating. I know that the chat did as well. So, but we're here for yet another finals tonight. This time the Helio division. It's a very different division than your guys's the division. Now, the players are the different, but the strategies are different. As I talked a little bit when I kind of asked about last night, we saw that Caitlyn was first picked in all 3 games. If just kind of looking at these AD carries, neither one of these, I think, AD carries really favor Caitlyn. I know TSM Pink Rose gets a Vayne ban all of the time, and CG Weatherham, that may have been, but it seems like he plays Misfortune a lot, but that also may be because he was taking it against the opposing, AD carries champion pool as well. It's just an interesting, very different strategy, and I can't wait to see what they got for us today.
Yeah, it's really interesting because once you get up to the higher level of like Galactic, you start seeing picks because they're good, not because the people are good at them. It was actually one of the struggles that I really had a problem with throughout the season because I really enjoy playing tank supports. I like playing Thresh, I like playing Nautilus, I like playing Braum. And what's powerful right now is Lulu Karma, right? And Lulu Karma just decimate all of those picks. So coming back down to this ELO, you really get to see people play more of these specialist roles where they get to play the champions that they like to play, the champions that they're good at. And I'm very excited with MF being much stronger AD carry on this patch. She's actually number 3 in win rate, right behind Draven and Twitch, believe it or not. And both of these AD carries here being fairly good at MF. I actually remember watching Pink Rose completely demolish a game on Misfortune and Wedham demolish a game on Misfortune. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a contested pick, and it would add some really interesting teamfight dynamics into this finals here.
Well, you just touched on it. The first 4 bans, the Annie and the Amumu ban for Outcast versus the Orianna Vayne bans on the side of Clash Shop, those are all very specific target bans. That's Niblum's best jungler. That's Lord Gemini's top, mid laner. Ziggs is probably another one of his top mid laners. Orianna is CLG Black Rose, second best mid laner, most played in Vantage, mainly because Cassiopeia usually gets banned against him. Vayne, most played AD carry for Pink Rose. He gets banned a lot. Lee Sin banned up against Switchy. That's a champion that he's put some games in on. So the pick band, these teams also have seen each other for 2 straight seasons. A lot of these players, so these pick bands have more history than just straight.
And a Yorick pick.
Instant.
That's spicy.
Yeah, the $3 bill, also the old name of TSM Blue Rose, does like his Yorick. So this is something that he's pulled out in the playoffs already, in the semifinals. So, I mean, we're going
really
straight to comfort here.
One of the things that's really interesting about Helios division, especially back when Mark Bentley J was playing on Claptrap, was that he loved Jax, right? Down here in Helios, you see a lot more split push compositions, a lot more individually focused compositions where they want to get one person very strong and then move forward in the game from there. As opposed to up in top division where you see a lot more of these 5v5 compositions, and there's the Misfortune.
Yeah, as we talked about, Misfortune on CG there, and Alien Roll talked about how tank meta up top right now is really strong, and he's been loving that Galio since that rework. He's put in a bunch of... In Vantage, he's put in some games. He's put in some games on this Galio as well. In fact, he is a perfect 4-0 on Galio. And he has a drastic variety of builds on Galio. He has first item Rod of Ages, he has first item ZZ Rot, and he has first item Sunfire Cape in 3 of his 4 games. So he seems to at least play around this champion fairly well.
It's going to be very interesting because my instinct is saying that Yorick should be able to win that lane fairly hard as long as he plays trades effectively, but that all comes down to Micro, and Micro, as we all know, is very undependable. So, and there's the Xayah. That's interesting. And
this is something I was hoping for. Xayah has been played a lot more in the Helios division, a lot more. While Misfortune is, I'm going to say probably one of the most played AD carries in this division, Xayah, since she came out, has probably been in the top 2 or 3.
That's very interesting.
Behind the Misfortune. Now, I know there's 2 AD carries in this division that particularly play a lot of Misfortune. That's kind of why we're harping on it, and why a lot of teams play a lot of it, to either take it away or to make sure someone else doesn't get it. But that it is Lord Gemini may be trying to steal away CLG Black Rose's most played mid laner in the Cassiopeia, and it looks like he's going to take it.
And that's just throwing down a gauntlet, and then picking up the Janna is a very, very safe compositional option. You don't really lock yourselves into anything. Honestly, on the side of Claptrap, we don't really see them locking themselves into any specific style of composition. We see sort of a more teamfight-oriented play style with the Galio and the MF and the Cassiopeia, but we really need somebody to help enable that Galio, so I'm really interested on what Nelvium's going to pull out in the jungle here.
Well, do you think Galio was picked really early, but Galio's ult, if it's just used defensively against one assassin in Kha'Zix, and if they pick a second assassin in Zed, sometimes you don't have to, be the initiator if the assassins have to dive in onto you.
Right, but I'm also a firm believer that in 5s, when you're actually crafting combos like this, you should have a game plan for when you're ahead and when you're behind, right? So if they're playing from behind, then yeah, sure, it's perfectly fine to just stop one of the assassins getting onto your Misfortune, right? But what if Galio gets 3 kills?
Then Galio is unkillable.
Right.
And it looks like we had some proxy picks there going on, and we should be starting back in here, and we'll get a full team comp put together. But it looks like that was a
Master Yi.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, there we are. Xayah. Sorry, I'm not paying attention. It's in the Slack room. Janna equal. Okay, so Xayah is not Xayah. Xayah is Nautilus. And for not support, looks like Janna is actually Jungle Rammus.
Okay.
Super! So, this is another proxy picks is just absolutely great when I'm not paying attention to the Slack room where they're telling me who everyone is. So, they're just going to go back through the pick bands here. So we have So that was probably a real Draven against Misfortune.
That was a real Draven, yes.
And that was I believe, a real Ahri against Cassiopeia.
Yes.
Janet was Rammus.
Janet was Rammus, and we did not see their support pick.
Did not see their support. Well, I have yet to see the new Rammus. I don't.
He's interesting. Do you know the details of his kit?
I do. He's got a channel Q now, but he can get to his top speed faster. His E taunt gives him attack speed. His extra armor give him bonus magic damage on auto attacks. And his Powerball shield is slightly stronger, but it makes him slow. But his ult also slows people, and that's a stacking slow that can get stacked up to something like crazy, like a 95% if you get the whole channel on them.
Yeah, so his Q goes faster, but it's a channel. His W slows him. It does the same. His Spike Shell, I believe is what it's called. I believe.
Yeah.
The Thornmail effect, it slows him down now, so he can't actually move as quickly when he has his Spike Shell up. It's a toggle ability. So. And also drains mana during that entire time instead of just having a flat cooldown and a flat mana. It will be interesting to see how new Rammus is going to interact, especially in this game. It's going to be very difficult for Draven to deal with the Rammus. He's going to have to get a very early QSS, which is something that Draven can actually afford in his kit because of the way that his spinning axes give him just insane amounts of base AD. But we'll see which direction Pink Rose decides to go here, and who do you think is going to be the key player on both of these teams here?
It can go one of two ways. It's okay. Well, that's a Blitzcrank, or never mind. Okay, it's a Zyra. For a second, there I was like, oh, Blitzcrank. That throws everything into it. The tankiness is Nautilus, right? New York can do some good team fighting here, but he's going to want to sit in the sideline and split push, and then as soon as Galio either leaves to ult or has to teleport out, York can just start either mowing down towers or go help his team, drop his ult to mow down towers. Like, it's a balancing act, right? While Galio is much more focused on the team part, and it's a wombo combo, right? You have the Galio, you have the Cassiopeia, Misfortune ult, Zyra. You're looking at layering all of your ults on top of each other. While we have Kha'Zix, who wants to jump in and out, Ahri, who can jump in and out, Draven, who's a much up close, fighting AD carry with only one tank in the Nautilus, right? That will actually be there. So they want way more skirmished separation. I think if Kha'Zix can get picks in the jungle and Rammus starts to fall behind and can't get tanky, I think Outcast will have the advantage. But if they get womboed once, that can draft. Doesn't matter if they're ahead. They get womboed once, they could just all die, and the game could be flipped instantly.
Yeah, I'm really interested. When I look at these champions and the matchups, all I can think of is the word volatile. It's just Ahri Cassiopeia is so snowbally. Draven Nautilus, Misfortune Zyra is so snowbally and so fighty and just like wanting to run in and punch each other in the face and see who hits harder. You know, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how all of these little micro trades pan out because it's really going to be decided by all of these in-lane trades. I feel it's going to dictate the pace of the game.
I think the only lane we don't have to watch for the first about 10 minutes is going to be top. Unless the junglers go up there. Because I don't see a whole lot of action in this lane. Unless, York can get through Galio's defenses. But Galio's Q should pretty much either wipe out the ghouls or almost wipe out the ghouls. And the damage reduction means that he may slow himself, but the ghouls aren't going to do anything to him.
Yeah, York's gonna have to really put his foot down and make an assertion of lane dominance before level 5, because at rank 3 on Galio's Q, he can clear the back line with 1 Q. At that point, York's not going to be able to match the wave clear, especially going the Triforce build that most Yorks are going nowadays. It's not going to be able to match him. Actually, interestingly, it might be viable here for him to go Titanic Hydra, just for the fact that he has to wave clear against the Galio, and I don't know if that's something that he's pondering or that he's thought about. I know that he has experience on the champion, but it would be interesting if he chose to go that path.
Also interesting to see if you actually go... One of the alternative builds that sometimes I've liked to run on York is actually Black Cleaver and Iceborne Gauntlet together. Because you can get the Black Cleaver shred with your ghouls, and you get that health in CDR, and then you get that Iceborne, because you're gonna want, if you have a Black Cleaver, Kha'Zix, I mean, it just depends on how your Draven wants to itemize. Rammus is gonna be a super tanky champion with all that armor, and you're gonna have to shred through it eventually.
Right.
It may not get to that point, right? I mean, they could, Kha'Zix could go and be Kha'Zix and get 17 kills in 15 minutes, and this game could be over. But I don't think that's going to happen, so we're going to jump into the game here out of the spectator delays. I'm going to run down the lineups here while we get the load in here. So on the blue side, we are going to have Team Outcast. They're going to have... Okay, I guess it's not loading. Are you loading? There it goes. Okay, $3 bill is going to be up in the top lane as York. Switchy is in the jungle on Kha'Zix. CLG Black Rose is in mid lane on Ahri. TSM Pink Rose is AD carry Draven. And TSM Red Rose is on support Nautilus. On the side of Claptrap, we have Aeolian Roll in top lane Galio. Niblum running Rammus jungle. Lord Gemini, mid lane Cassiopeia. CG Wetham on AD carry Misfortune. And Schmeck playing support Zyra. Okay, Sticks.
Wow.
You faced support Zyra 3 games in a row last night. Now you or Karma could poke back. Nautilus just has to, get lucky and land a great hook?
So basically the gambit, and I had this discussion a lot with my team for the finals, was if you're going to pick a tank engaged champion, right? You're basically throwing down a gauntlet and saying, I am better than the enemy. Because if you are better than the enemy Zyra, then you'll get hooks and you'll blow her up, right? But it's a gambit. It's a gauntlet. You have to throw it down and say, okay, I am better than this person. If you're not, then you're just going to get poked. And it's going to be one hell of a lane, and you've just got to try and survive and get through into the mid game when you can be useful again, and your CC and your tankiness is actually going to be a boon to your team, rather than your low mobility and your lack of ability to poke back be a disadvantage.
Yep.
So it will be interesting to see whether Red Rose can play the lane at a high enough level that it's going to matter.
And most likely we'll have the classic Vantage pause right as the game starts, because Riot's custom games are never friendly to us when we absolutely want them to be.
Always.
You kind of touch base on the aspects of importance of controlling the waves. Now, in how volatile it'll be, Ahri versus Cassiopeia mid lane. Both of them are running Flash Ignite. We saw both Cassiopeia and Ahri action the other day. Is one going to have an advantage, or is it just going to be just has to be who kills who first?
So before level 6, the onus is on Ahri to pressure the Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia, if she hits a Q, will actually out-pressure and out-trade the Ahri if she uses her cooldowns effectively. So you hit a Q, you get a couple E's, you back out. Right? You can win that trade against Ahri. but it's when the Cassiopeia either oversteps before level 6 or the Ari gets to level 6 that the lane shifts. Once Ari hits level 6, she is highly favored in the lane against Cassiopeia. It just depends on how Lord Gemini positions and how well he manages to play that fight, because it's very difficult to outplay an Ari with her ulti up, with her Spirit Rush up.
Looks like there's a
So
nice, fan out there between teams, and the Zyra little plantlings kind of spotted out the seedlings, spotted out a couple people, and some wards down on the side of Outcast that spot out everyone. They know where everyone is except for Galio, who's just chilling up in top lane.
yeah, just doing a little bit of poking fun at each other. Nothing really happened. They're just wanting to play these lanes straight up how I think that they should.
Now, how fast is Rammus's clear compared to the Kazakhs? I believe the Kazakhs probably will be faster, but maybe a little bit more risky. Maybe, Rammus is going to have more health.
Rammus's clear is actually, even though he's a jungler, his clear is actually very suspect. It's not the best thing in the world. He doesn't come out of the jungle too terribly hurt, but he will come out of the jungle at about the same HP as Kazakhs. With a little bit slower clear speed, if he clears effectively. The Kazakh should have the speed advantage as far as clearing, and he should have a health advantage if he takes a proper route.
Now, Nibelheim went for the blue into Gromp. It looks like he's going to go to Wolves here, where Kazakhs went, red to Wolves to blue. So maybe a full clear for the Rammus, get boots on his first back.
Ooh.
And no hook.
Took a big chunk of he can't trade back. Oh well. It was just an awkward position because the MF wasn't actually level 2, but the Zyra still had her snare. So if Nautilus goes in there to try and trade, then Zyra gets the snare, and MF is able to actually follow up and the trade, despite her XP disadvantage. So
now, Rammus is just going to back in his Wolves and just straight up give, Kazakhs 3 buff the Rammus, and is going to just be able to jump on out of there, pick up Scuttle Crab, no repercussion whatsoever.
Switchy should have gone straight top, seeing the lane position there. Yeah, he should have gone straight top instead of taking the Scuddler, because it was walking out towards him. He's going to get a fair amount of damage here, but if he had gone straight top with the lane frozen on the ghouls like that, that was a pretty much guaranteed flash. But trying to take the Scuttle Crab there, he actually gave away his position on the ward in the river because of the way the Scuttle Crab was actually positioning.
And Nibelheim should know that his red buff is gone, as, Wethem's hit a bunch of double ups here to the point where TSM Pinkrose has burnt Flash and Heal down here in this bottom lane and his health pot, and is going to have to back. No, he's up a couple CS, but giving up so much experience as we do see that gank return up in the top lane. Galio's burnt Flash there. Ram is coming in with the Powerball. Let's see if he lands it. Nope, he's going to run back out.
Very good return gank by Switchy there, knowing that the ward was going to time out by the time that he came back. He got a good amount of chunk damage there, and he really needs to be focusing this top lane to give Yorick some of that priority. Because as we said, once Galio gets the ability to wave shove him, it's going to be very difficult for Yorick to do much in this lane.
As we kind of look back into mid lane here, Lord Gemini is, up in CS, but about the same amount of mana. Actually just hit level 5, so he's got a lot of that mana and health back on the sustain. Doing okay against the Ahri, who, just farming it. No action other than just the CS so far.
There was actually a really big gank by Switchy there, just to touch back on the top lane gank, because Aileron roll missed about 7 minions of XP there, which is going to be a huge boon for Yorick. We'll see if he's able to do anything with that level 6, maybe get that minion in the mist, get a really strong trade, get it an all-in right before Aileron roll is able to get his level spike and his stats back up, but it'll be interesting to see how that lane develops from this point.
Now Switchy comes down here, got the other Scuttle Crab, hits the vision cone, sees that there's no vision on this blue side, looks back towards the mid lane. Nothing really there as Galio is not 6 yet, roam down to maybe get off. The junglers are going to actually run into each other here, and I'm not exactly sure who this is going to favor, as Kha'Zix is dealing almost as much damage to himself, but there's the Draven lane and one thing, and there's the Blast Plant not in time, as that slow really hindered Nibelung's ability to escape from the Kha'Zix.
It's the isolation damage, right? Like, Kha'Zix is one of the best jungle splits at the moment. It's why he's meta, it's why he's strong. So, for him to run into a Rammus, he's just like, oh, a piece of candy.
Rammus does not have all that extra armor yet, and it seemed to be going in his favor, but soon as he, the W at the auto attacks weren't doing, enough on the side of Kha'Zix. He wasn't hurting himself enough for it to really matter, as Kha'Zix, like we saw, picked up the first blood.
Yeah, if the Kha'Zix had, if it had been a situation where Kha'Zix was for sure going to get less than 2 Qs off, Nilbium probably wins that fight. But because Kha'Zix was able to get the 3rd and then obviously the 4th Q that ended up killing Rammus there, that's where you see the isolation damage and the lack of early game stats from tanks really come into play there. Very good pickup by Switchy there on the first blood.
Now, Nautilus has landed a couple of these hooks in on the Schmeck, but that return damage from Misfortune has been too powerful for, the Draven to really pump out as much damage as possible. As we see Alien Roll having to taunt the ghouls and York to get around the cage placed up in top lane, as he's burning through a bunch of health pots. That teleport down the bot lane didn't help his jungler and put him in a pretty awkward spot now on top.
Yeah, you see he's down about 13 CS, and he will just continue to fall behind in XP. He's a full level down in XP now. The early gank and then the failed teleport. Oh, there's a fight going. Ooh, so much damage from Zyra there. Very good flash by Red Rose.
Yeah, Rammus was coming in here. He just engaged at basically the wrong second, as they just kind of baited that out, and Rammus was able. Looks like they're gonna try and get some damage down on here. There's the ult coming out from Nautilus onto the support to get some just damage and sustain, as Nautilus is gonna miss the hook, and this is probably gonna be a dead Rammus.
Oh,
Nautilus is
he missed the
hook.
hook.
Down. Neblum's gonna steal that one. Did he just... I'm not exactly sure. He just stole with an auto. I thought they were going to try and hand that over to the Misfortune, who's proved to be pretty strong so far in this lane. But here comes the Kha'Zix, and he's isolated, and there's no reason to flash. Oh, Stitchy not there with his own flash. Takes down Misfortune. Rammus back just at the wrong second.
Alright, like this is one of the win conditions for their team, right? It's to get the Kha'Zix big, to let the Kha'Zix just be able to go on one-shot the MF without having any counterplay. So Switchy really needs to try and put this game on his back right now. The pressure's kind of on him to continue to snowball this.
As the Ahri has fallen about 10 to 15 CS behind, this York is doing absolutely work on this top lane tower, as Galio's had the back a couple of times now. Switchy's in onto the Dragon, as the bot lane comes to the support. You just killed AD carry, you're a jungler, go take Dragon.
Yeah, very impressive CS coming out on $3 bill, higher than average for the elo that we're looking at here, and just very good overall. He's doing a lot of work in this top lane. Really excited to see. Ooh, okay.
Well, as soon as we give the caster curse here, the flash comes out, as they're both going to get stuck in the cage, but Rammus is going to finish that off. That ult damage looked pretty strong to me, even though it being level 1, and it seemed that the extra slow, because he got stuck in the on the field, really was an impact.
Yeah, it was a pretty good ganking roll by Nelvium, and $3 bill with
Oh, sorry, the wombo down in bot lane. Zyra got jumped on by Kha'Zix, lays the ult down on her feet, flashes into the bush, away from the enemy bot lane, and Misfortune lays a perfect bull time over the field, takes down the jungler, and Zyra's able to get one more auto attack to finish off the AD carry. Nautilus is now stuck down here by himself, trying to just keep this farm and away from the tower.
Notice that Pink Rose actually dropped an axe during that fight, and that one axe is what kept him from killing Smetch there. Ah, Draven, you lovely, lovely purveyor of mechanics.
And Niblum's going to go around the minions, and the Power Ball form does not have flash as Black Rose uses the Ahri dashes to get away from any gank as possible. Really hard to catch an Ahri post 6, let alone level 9.
Yeah, no flashes, no summoners burned, but a very big cooldown coming out of Black Rose relieves a lot of pressure off of Gemini and gives him a little bit more of a chance to trade. Hailer on roll, deciding not to take that trade.
Probably a good decision, as he does look like he's going for the first time Sunfire Cape here just to help try and clear out the minions, as York has been pushing in on him pretty hard. Those are pretty effective against the ghouls as well. The armor and the burn there. So another gank here going in onto mid lane, and nice taunt this time by Niblum, and flash has to be burnt by Cassiopeia. The charm lands on Ahri with the Q. Cassiopeia, sorry, was not within range to follow up in on that, probably for good reason, seeing is that she was about at 20% health.
I think that Gemini actually played that overly conservative. We saw Black Rose use all of his cooldowns on Rammus right at the start of the fight. So I think that Gemini didn't really have much to worry about if he wanted to just flash and ignite onto Black Rose, especially with him wasting his flash early on to that fight. I think you could have just flash Q, E, ignited.
We're going to go back up here the top lane as we see the gank coming out, and Niblum's going to pop. Cassiopeia is actually going to go down to the gank in mid lane, and they missed in the maiden. It's absolutely shredding the Rammus there, because guess what? The mist does magic damage, and is Niblum going to get out? Yes, he is, but here comes the Draven ult looking for Galio. Return just clears out the back line of minions. Galio's gonna have to back here. Styx, tell us what happened in mid. How did Cass go down?
Switchy just used his stealth and jump to jump onto Lord Gemini. Gemini did not get his ulti off in time and just got one shot.
Well,
because Fed Kha'Zix.
Yeah, Fed Kha'Zix just walked into lane with the minions and ghouls from York, and just straight up killed the Galio there. So now that Switchy is gone pretty much off here, up 20 CS, up 2 kills, allowed his top laner to get the first tower, handed over that extra gold. What's your opinion on the new Rift Heralds? York seems to be like a champion that would absolutely love the Rift.
So a Rift Herald is interesting because it's a very important objective, but at the same time it's very easy to counter. If your team is aware of the fact that they can take Rift Herald, then you can play around it very easily and burst it down. If you have 4 people sitting in a lane waiting to kill the Rift Herald, it goes down very quickly. It's when you use it as a snowballing mechanic where you get a couple of kills, either in mid lane or top lane, take the Rift Herald, go shove the other lane, and it gets you, it gives you like a straight up 600 gold lead from taking, a tower or two, especially if you're very far ahead and you push on to the tier 2. The amount of damage, the gold value that it gives is actually very underrated in my opinion.
Well, in my solo queue games, I want to say that the Rift Herald is taken maybe 50% of the time as we see the gank come down here. Rammus is going to walk right in and get in onto the Nautilus. Oh. That's a wombo combo if I've ever saw one. Take out the bot laners on the side of Team Outcast, but in return, York and Kha'Zix take the Rift Herald. They're going to get this tier 1 in bot lane. Probably they should stay and get Dragon, although Galio's may have to even teleport up to top lane because York is up there. If York drops the Maiden and the Rift. You could say goodbye to probably 2 towers.
Yeah, Yorick should be pushing his trinket button right now.
There he is. He dropped it.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got the ult. Oh, this is dirty.
Rift Herald, he can push this just as hard as 4 people from the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. Even if Aileron roll like backs right now, he's still probably gonna lose his inhibitor tower.
Cassiopeia is booking it up here up to top lane. To watch this Galio go in there,
They lose mid pressure.
but they lost mid pressure. Yep, and now Cassiopeia stuck between a rock and a hard place. Gets a perfect stun on everyone, and is almost actually does kill the Yorick. So the outplay down there. We're gonna swap down to the bot lane fight here as we see a couple people go down there as one jungler goes down, and Ari's trying to dance around. Misfortune dashes out of the pit, but Zyra deals into the dragon pit's gonna go down to the dragon, and you know the 4v4 goes in favor of Outcast because Kha'Zix is fed.
And that's what I'm talking about with perpetual gold at value Rift Herald. Like there's not an apparent amount of gold that is given to you. Obviously, Baron Recall is worth some amount of gold, right? But it's the pressure. It's the amount of stuff that you can get for using the Rift Herald. And right there, they managed to pull the Cassiopeia away from mid. They finish off mid tower. They force Galio into a position where he's backing. He gets caught in the tri-brush, and then it just leads into a team fight where Squishy just takes an amazingly strong path into the backline, just gets straight to all the squishies, just starts queuing everybody and cleaning up.
Now, while Gragas did die, York did die on top, he also got, you know, tier 2 top lane, which is, you know, valuable as well. And with those kills, that nets them another dragon. And they only lost Draven and York for it. I think that's a pretty good trade here so far. Even though the kills are 8 and 8, the two extra towers and the 2 extra dragons, you know, are applying to a 4K gold lead here for Outcast.
I'd like to see them rotate $3 build to the bot lane here very shortly because of the fact that Baron's going to be spawning in just a couple of minutes here. I would like to see them pressuring this bot lane tower with the Yorick and allowing Draven to pressure along the Baron line, because if they send 2 to 3 people onto $3 bill, then it's just a free Baron.
Galio burns the ult there, was within walking distance of the Rammus. Necessary though, as Kha'Zix had landed 2 or 3 Qs, already has the Black Cleaver, and was shredding through the little armor that Rammus does have currently. We see 4 people grouping up here in mid for Claptrap, as they're looking probably to get some counter pressure here in the mid lane after you know they already have taken out the bot tower. Rammus zooming around, hits Scuttle Crab.
It's metas like these that I'm really glad that Brutalizer got reworked.
Oh, jeez. Misfortune is not in the same position as her support, and down with the Zyra, and does not layer a good ult combo in with the rest of her teammates. As Nautilus lands a nice knockup, and Kha'Zix is going to go down, but that's okay. Takes out the AD carry the entire time. Draven has been down here in the bot lane, just mowing on that tower. Cassiopeia's up in top lane, dealing with this Yorick, and the ulti as Rammus is going to get taunted. Draven ult runs by. It's not going to hit anyone. Galio trying to peel for his jungler as Draven takes a tower. Cassiopeia trying to fight the Maiden now on top of fighting the Yorick, not going in his favor.
This actually gives me a chance to talk about an interesting concept that doesn't always come up, but it's the concept of the difference between open and closed maps. Different compositions either want towers to fall or want towers to stay up, depending on how they want to approach fights and how their champions want to use their kits. And on the side of Outcast, you see a Kha'Zix and an Ahri, a Yorick who wants to split push, and you really want a team with an open map. So even though that was just a trade, just overall for gold, getting that bot tower down, allowing them to be able to use this side of the jungle as a map pressure mechanic is going to be very much more beneficial to the side of Outcast than to Claptrap here.
An Aileron roll at 20 minutes just picked up a Rod of Ages before finishing off Sunfire Cape or even getting level 2 boots. That's an interesting pickup this late in the game. I mean, that's not going to be stacked until 30 minutes. And if Kha'Zix keeps jumping on these champions and getting kills the ways he is on the the squishy support Zyra and the Misfortune, I don't know if it's going to last for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think that at this point it's a little bit greedy. I think that if you wanted more damage, just be going Iceborne Gauntlet and be calling it at that. His job is to be beefy, not to be a threat.
And you could even just get Abyssal Scepter at one point and increase your magic damage as well as increase the magic damage coming out of Cassiopeia and Rammus, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Maybe you should have picked that up actually.
I mean, it works great actually with Thornmail and Sunfire Cape as we see, the taunts coming in and the ults. There's the Wombo. It only is going to take down the Ahri after she had used all of her abilities. Cassiopeia somehow got hooked through all of that as she's going to go down to Kha'Zix, who's going to jump back out, trading some damage here. Now the Wombo is really strong as Galio is going to go down in the top lane here to the Maiden, and we got a ZZ Rot and a Maiden in this top lane with the ghouls. This tower is going to drop extremely fast. He does also have, Trinity Force. I don't see how they're going to be able to stop him.
Come in. Yeah, done deal.
$3 bill really doesn't care at the moment as he's just going to try and blow through this Yorick. It's
brutalized Nelvium with the Maiden.
The Maiden magic dam is surprisingly a lot.
Almost takes down Smash as well. Oh, wow.
And with all of that chaos going up in top wave, the vision control, the pink wards that are just now being cleared out on the side of Switchy were actually really well set up. We haven't really touched base on vision, but for Outcast being, as you said, like the open map, they've left it really dark.
Yeah, they haven't really been utilizing the openness of the map to their advantage as far as vision goes. And that control ward that was just sitting on Switchy's red buff, that's been there for like 5-6 minutes. They set up early vision, and they've been so busy moving around the map trying to get kills that they really haven't checked their own jungle for any sort of control wards.
Mm-hmm. As we see, the Misfortune did burn the ult to try and steal the dragon and just lay as much damage down as possible as to Kha'Zix, who actually did get taken down to about a quarter health but was able to jump the wall and escape. As we see the top laners duking out again, but Aileron Roll is pretty far behind now at the moment. He's down a full level and really over a full completed item.
I think that Aileron Roll should have also gone for Ninja Tab right here. There's some guaranteed damage coming out from Kha'Zix. He's just going to take Splash. Oh. And suddenly Draven's back in the game, boys.
Yeah, Draven picking up that kill. I just want to say that I think Kha'Zix dealt like 90% of that damage, and Draven just slipped in one auto attack there at the last second. But as we kind of touched on here, the split push is super strong now. As Ahri, dashes in, throws out the charm, Flash comes out from Cassiopeia. I think you're right. The Ninja Tab, I probably wouldn't have been the better aspects. I know you like getting the Magic Radius on Galio, but York's an auto attacker, Kha'Zix an auto attacker, Draven's an auto attacker, and so much physical damage, especially when you have one Black Cleaver coming out on the team as well. It's something that you just rely on, and there's not a lot of hard CC. I mean, the Ahri charm. Nautilus, I guess, but when was the last time we've seen the Galio go up against the Nautilus? As Kha'Zix's going to jump in here, Rammus is going to try and power bomb in, but I don't think this is going to be enough. Cassiopeia lands on some stuff, but they get stuck in the cage as Draven's walking up the minion wave here. York has placed the ZZ Rot. They're going to split this, and Zyra's going to probably go down here. No, actually with the ult, knocks up the Kha'Zix as there's the ult from Nautilus. Rammus is stuck in there in power bubble. There's the Misfortune Wombo. Does not get enough. Cassiopeia trying to come off around on the side. It gets a great ult onto the Draven, but not the Ahri. And she's going to go down. Gragas. She's not Gragas. Galio is going to go down to the York in the top lane. Draven somehow survived all of that. That's actually a full team ace. Only Ahri going down. The split pressure of this York in top lane And
if Yorick gets a Nexus Tower here, this game is pretty much over. At that point, the minions will for sure kill the tower on the Nexus if they get through to the base. So that just gives $3 bill all of the pressure in the world.
In bot lane, it looks like tier 2 may even go down to minions as well. So we're just going to focus in on this inhibitor. The Nexus here. See a $3 bill wants to go for it.
Be happy, yeah.
Yeah. Draven took tier 2 in mid lane. This split pressure from top lane seems to be what's really controlling the aspect of this game, allowing the Kha'Zix and the Ahri and the Draven to roam around and do stuff in other lanes and be productive and get kills.
I would really give MVP of this game to Switchy. I think it speaks a lot to how well he's been playing this game, that during that fight he was able to not only jump in twice, but he still had flash up from all the other kills that he's gotten because he's been playing these fights cleanly and hasn't had to panic flash. So he was able to flash out of the MF ulti, which was used solely to try to kill him, which left her positioning just completely out of place. They were able to collapse on her. They were able to do so much work off of Switchy, pulling out cooldowns and pressure and playing the fight safely.
So we kind of look at it. It's now time for the Baron baits and the Baron attempts here as we're getting to that 27-minute mark. Now, top lane is a... Oh, well, never mind. Kha'Zix just going to kill Misfortune. That's... Misfortune gets, when you have a... Zyra. They're both red.
Yeah, skins are confusing.
Although, Rammus taunt into Cassiopeia Q and E's and a double up from Misfortune takes down the squishy Kha'Zix. So,
but look at the Yorick. Look at the Yorick.
Yorick does not care in this game. Apparently, $3 bill says, I'm playing this game, PvE, me versus the Nexus, while the rest of my team can do whatever they want. Misfortune burns the ult. He's trying to finish this game solo.
He's going for it.
He's trying really hard. He doesn't have his ult. There's his maiden coming up, and he's not. He's going to go down. Cassiopeia actually finishes off the Ahri, who's maybe trying to come for some aid. Nautilus is stuck, who is probably taking the tower for the Ahri, and is going to drop as well.
Draven's going to get a mid tower for it.
He is. I don't think he should.
He was looking for it.
He was looking. Now York has teleport. He didn't. He didn't place any wards in the base, so we don't have any backdooring just yet. I was gonna say that having top lane down should allow Outcast to, rotate the York bot lane, and then his team set up for Dragon, or not Dragon, Baron. Apparently not.
I honestly think that you just stick Yorick in the bot lane right now and then just all rush at Baron with respawns. I mean, what are they gonna do? Like, if you all come to contest the Baron, then Yorick runs into your base. You have to be fighting a 4v4, and with Switchy as strong as he is, if they've got proper vision control, he blows up one of you regardless.
Yeah, they may wait for this dragon, which pops up in 2 seconds here. It is a fire drake, and who doesn't love fire drakes? Everyone loves an extra fire drake. York's taking blue buff, so he can spam some Qs. Draven stealing red. I mean, they've taken absolutely everything. There's nothing really left for Claptrap to even leave their base to get.
Yeah, they've taken control of this game pretty heavily. I'm unsure about whether Ghostlight is really best on Draven at the moment, but that is simply an aside. They get the Baron. All they have to do, go bot, push the wave, send your 4 mid. It's easy money at this point.
York actually just straight teleports to mid lane, or not to mid lane, to the bot lane to get that push started on the side for his team. Draven is going to send a preemptoral ult to help clear out the minion waves here in mid lane to get that lane pushing even more. In the top lane, inhibitor may respawn here in the next 30 seconds, but I think they should be able to get mid inhibitor, if not top and mid down in that time frame. And at that point, it's literally just the game.
We're looking at the last stand here for Claptrap.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
they have to do is play this siege cool and controlled, and everything should work out for them.
Galio is taking about half of his health from Yorick, who's taking no damage. And Armis is going to go in and try to get the snare off into the Fed Kazakhs. That's not going to matter. Galio is going to come into the back line, but Misfortune is going to absolutely drop down with Zyra to the Ari in the back lane, and Kazakhs is going to clean up the Galio. Ari finishes off the Ramus. Clean ace. York didn't even participate in that fight. Did York even get a kill this game? He got what? Oh, never mind. He got 5. At one point, he was like 0-2-1, but he had the most CS on his team.
2v1ing.
And was 2v1ing up in top lane. So a pretty snowbally game on the side of Outcast here. It literally was just the top half of the map, because that Misfortune Zyra, we were actually doing a fairly good job down in bot lane, but when Kazakhs shows up and gets 3-4 kills, and the York starts the split push, can't be stopped, it's really hard to come back from that.
Right, I think that this game really comes down to compositional flaws, right? Like, they didn't have anybody that was going to ever be able to deal with York, and they didn't really have anybody that was going to be able to stop the Kazakhs from destroying this Misfortune. I think that if they had either had a strong split pusher to answer the York, or if they had had like a Wooloo Karma, something that would allow the MF to not just get immediately one shot, or somebody who would be a little bit safer and not get one shot themselves, I think that this game would have been much easier to stall out for Claptrap. But as it stood, they didn't have an answer to either of those possible lines of play. And so Switchy getting strong, being able to pull pressure away from the Yorick and allowing the Yorick to just go in and punch the Galio to death, it really just caused the game to snowball.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me, that can happen in some of these games when you do have a composition that's much more in favor of one style that doesn't fit the other style, right? The Wombo combo between the Cassiopeia, the Misfortune, the Zyra, and the Galio, even the Ramus to an extent, works really well if the other team is like a 4v1 comp. But the other team isn't even a 1-3-1 comp. They're like a 1-1-1-2-1 comp, right? And the 1s and the 2s seem to be switching all the time, like who Nautilus was hanging around with. He wasn't always with Draven. Sometimes he was with Ari. Sometimes he was even with Kazakhs roaming the jungle. And you can't wombo a team if they're never together.
Right. And that's the power of the pick potential on the Kazakhs. Why he's one of the stronger junglers right now. Why he's one of the stronger junglers in general. He's always been strong for that reason. He can jump in, eliminate somebody, and get out. And he's one of the safest champions at doing that.
Mm-hmm. I do want to just sort of touch base on...
can somebody drop down so I can get into lobby? Can you type, please?
As there looks like they're setting up the next lobby here. The picked bands phase. These teams, like we saw, know each other pretty well. Would you expect certain bands are coming out, or do you just pick different champions in general? Go with a slightly different style, knowing which each team's going to go with.
I think that these teams really just need to play to their strengths, play to the style that they're used to, play what they're good at, and if they can do that, then it's going to work out better for them overall. I think that trying to mold yourself around what other people are doing is really only going down a path of over-analyzing and putting yourself onto comps and picks that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah, so as we get the lobby finished up here, that was a pretty impressive performance, and yet another way that we have seen Rift Herald used in these playoffs. I think I've casted a bunch of games and witnessed some others. I think Rift Herald has been taken and used in every single game, and looks like you're back in there, Sticks. And was used differently in a lot of them. I've seen Rift Herald being taken and then 5-manning down in bot lane. I've seen Rift Herald taken and their team all die, and the jungler dropping it in their own base because he only had like 10 seconds left on it and he had to get rid of it. I've seen them take Rift Herald and take it straight to lane to get first tower. I mean, it's been a very impressive. I've seen Rift Herald being used and killed right away as well, in a very unimpressive way. It's just I think, a really excellent wrinkle that Riot's added during this last midseason, that we're seeing the glimpses of it here in all these games, and none of us are pro players. None of us are on that top strategic level. And all of these matches have been excellent, even in just this little aspect of the gameplay.
Yeah, I think that the new design of Rift Herald is one of the better things that Riot has done for the game. They really added in an early game objective that is meaningful, but is not overpowered. Right? Like, Rift Herald can be extremely snowball. It can be very helpful to win the game. It can be extremely strong, but it's also very easy to kill and play around. So I think that Riot is really starting to understand their design, their design direction when it comes to balancing the game and making sure that it's fresh and also competitive. Especially moving into this season, I've seen a lot more of the Riot design team patches. I've been very happy with the direction that they've gone with the game, much more than I have in previous seasons.
And this is, I kind of touched a little bit, but this is something that team play is much more important for. In solo queue, you're not getting any of this type of action, right? Like I said, I've seen a whole bunch of games where no one even sniffed the Herald. But in every single playoff match, whether it be the bronziest of bronze or the sparkling diamonds, every single game Rift Herald has been taken.
Right, because of its snowball potential. Because of the potential, you want to give yourself the opportunity to have that huge upside. Right? It's very important in constructive play that you give yourselves a chance to have an edge. It doesn't mean that it's always going to turn out, but when you have an opportunity to take a strong neutral objective like that, or like a tower, it's important that you do. Now,
these teams have their own strategies, and sometimes we just played that terrible, that's not how we normally play, let's, tighten up our game here, and let's focus down. But Claptrap and Outcast, Claptrap's now on blue side or the left, and Outcast is now on red side or the right. Same exact bans.
Yeah, I think that on both sides of the team, on both sides, they're just sort of going second versus same as the first, right? Like, they're both compositions were doing what the teams want to do as a team, what they've been successful with. So I don't think that there's going to be very much adaptation moving into the second game. I think they're going to try and change the play.
Oh,
or they're going to pick Kled.
Kled, I think that's a very drastic change from Galio for role. I think Kled can deal with Yorick.
Kled can deal with Yorick. Yes. I sort of wanted to see Pink Rose move away from the Draven, but we'll see which direction he decides to go. I don't think that his Draven is going to be able to out-pressure Wedum's Misfortune. That's not a hit on Pink Rose. It's a boon for Wedum's play on that Misfortune. And I've be extremely strong during the laning phase on it.
Now, we show you a new wrinkle, and Black Rose now is going to get his most played ranked champion in the last 2 years of Cassiopeia, while Switchy's going to go back on that devastating Kha'Zix.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see if Switchy can get a repeat performance on that Kha'Zix. I highly enjoyed watching him play these fights. He played the fights very intelligently, and I think that anybody who wants to play an assassin, whether it be in the mid lane, jungle, or top lane, in the lower elos here at Advantage, you should go back and sort of watch how some of those team fights developed, because Switchy played very, very well last game.
Mm-hmm. You sing. Okay, we are out of. Super. Oh, super. Kled wasn't Kled. Kled was actually Kha'Zix. This is why proxy picks are funny sometimes. So with
Can't everybody just assume that like we should use Urgot or something? Urgot Teemo. We should just make like regular picks.
A non. How about a non-top laner? And then the other problem is you can't talk to each other in the chat in the customs now like you used to be able to.
Yeah.
So so with Kha'Zix being taken away from Switchy, he's not going to be getting that champion, and we're not going to see Kled out of Alien role. I was actually kind of disappointed. I kind of wanted to see a Kled game. And then while the pause there, I'm like trying to look up, and I kind of keep track of what people have played in Advantage in the leagues here, and I'm like, Kled is not a champion Alien role I think has ever played. And I look through, and I'm like, tank, AP, tank, AP. I'm like, he doesn't play this type of champion at all. So
total insanity you can rely on.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess play the crazy Yordle at the crazy time. So with Kha'Zix being taken away, what do you think Switchy will go for?
Be honest,
they banned Lee Sin against him. Now in the semifinals, he played Graves, Gragas, and Jungle Shen. They go with Kled again. Maybe probably because $3. Yeah, it doesn't have the champion, and $3 bill. I'm pretty sure that's not his type of champion either. The Kled, he's much more of a tank split pushing guy. So the Yorick, the Garen. So Cassiopeia is still.
I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm unsure of where Switch go with this. They took away the Lee Sin. Gragas, okay.
Gragas, yeah, he also pulled out in the semifinals. Now, is Lord Gem? Are we gonna have a repeat matchup of Ahri versus Cassiopeia in the mid lane? That would be extra spicy, especially because Lord Gemini actually seemed to be performing one of the strongest on his team through the mid game until he got stuck in the side lane, trying to make sure that the inhibitor didn't go down to Yorick for about 4 minutes, and his team collapsed around him. Niblum is trolling everyone right now.
I think that
loving that random button.
If we're gonna see Claptrap come through and really put down their foot in this next game, it's gonna be Wedum and Gemini. I think that from what we saw last game, $3 Bill has a stronger laning phase than Aileron Roll. So I want to see what Wedum and Gemini can do moving into this second game.
Now, Wedum's going to go with the Caitlyn pick here. It's going to be pretty strong. Control aspect, relatively safe. AD carry, as we saw last night, pretty dominating lane phase into that mid-game. As long as she gets the IE Hurricane, her mid-game dip is really, non-existent.
Well, there's a reason why she's getting nerfed in this patch, right? There's a reason why her headshot's getting nerfed. There's a reason why the things around her are getting nerfed. There's really no bad place to pick Caitlyn. She's overall just the strongest overall AD carry that you can possibly pick because of the power of her traps and because she's sort of she does everything, right? She sieges, she pokes, she team fights, she snipes. She just does everything that you could possibly want in an AD carry packed into one package with a very nice top hat.
Hey, Akali is Rakan. So we're gonna so we're gonna see Misfortune Rakan. Now, Pink Rose Misfortune
Against Caitlyn, and
we
we'll
don't
see
know
what they
yet.
pick up here.
Now that is gonna be an Echo played by Lord Gemini. That's something that he has played before in the past, and is actually I think picked up a
Pretty
ban or
bad
two.
matchup though.
Yeah, but it's all gonna come down to how well Echo can push and roam and leave, right?
His power is not going to be in the lane phase. And another proxy pick, no? Braum?
Braum?
And New.
Okay.
Proxy pick.
So, I wish they'd tell me first here, so chat doesn't like show everything. So, Nunu is Lissandra. Now, Lissandra is Alien Roll's most played champion this season. Not in Vantage, but just in general. And I think that's something that he feels comfortable on.
Well, we don't actually know what his top lane matchup was because they left before last pick occurred.
Correct. Now, Braum can stop the Misfortune ult, but if that's the only kind of prevent anyone behind him being dealt damage, depending on how far up he is in it, he may be blocking all of it, or may he just die because he eats the whole thing to his face. How is the? I honestly have no idea. Braum into Rakan.
I honestly don't know. I haven't seen the matchup played out enough because Braum is not meta and Rakan was meta for like 2 days once he came out, and then everybody realized that Xayah was better and then moved on.
Yeah.
So, and Xayah is not even that strong. She's just better than Rakan. Comparison, So it'll be interesting to see how these trade patterns end up playing out. I would imagine that just with the 80 carry picks, it's going to come down to how many free autos can Caitlyn get and how many double ups can Misfortune get. Which seems really basic, but I think that's just how it's going to end up playing out.
Now, TSM Red Rose did play Rakan in the semifinals, did get a game of that in. It looks like he's put in over 20 games in ranked on Rakan so far, so has been one of the people at least putting in a little bit of time on this new champion.
I mean, I'm very excited to see what he does on the champion. I want to see him perform well, and I want to see him show us what Rakan can do within a structured 5 environment. But I'm just unsure of the limits of the champion and how far exactly Red Rose can push it because of my limited sample size.
Yep. Now, Rakan kind of likes to dash around and jump in and out of fights. How do you think that feels going up against a Braum, who Caitlyn with that long range can really get in, as we do see York as the counter to the Lissandra, really affect Rakan's ability to jump around. Braum, Caitlyn is a pretty strong lane. I mean, it's not the weakest in the world. There's some synergy, at least.
Yeah, there's some synergy. It comes down to how well they play it. The onus is on the Misfortune to outplay the Caitlyn, and it's on the Braum to outplay the Rakan. So we'll see how that ends up shaping up. I really want to see how the first few levels end up playing out before I make any judgments on it.
Mm-hmm. Now, Niblum on the Rammus was slow to get ganks off, and he did die in his own jungle to the Kazakhs, like level 4, level 3. And then Kazakhs started ganking, 1 to 2 ganks every time that Rammus ganked once. Now, Rammus was successful in getting kills in his ganks, but Kazakhs was way more successful. Is the shoe on the other foot now? Now that Niblum gets the Kazakhs, and while Switchy is on Gragas, who can do some ganks early, is still kind of a tanky champion and a little bit slower at getting around.
No, Gragas has a much better clear than Rammus, and he has a lot more utility tools than Rammus has to actually go out and influence the game, right? The issue with the Rammus was not necessarily the clear speed or that the Kazakhs got going so much faster. It was the choice of pathing by Nelbium, going for a much longer full clear rather than going for the quick clear to try to match the Kazakhs and try to get a counter gank off on top. Going the Gromp, Wolves, Raptors, Red, taking all of your jungle, and then trying to see how the map is going, that's just not how the meta has shaped up as far as what is strong in the jungle currently. That's why we see a lot more Lee Sin, that's why we see a lot more Kazakhs, that's why we see Graves still having an impact in the meta. It's because the jungle gives you so much experience back that you're not actually that punished for ganking. So you literally take as many camps as you can, or you have to get the level 3, go get a gank, go invade the jungler, then go back and try and farm. Because even if you die at one of those places, you're going to catch back up the next.
We've started the 3-minute spectator delay here. And with that, we only have one real lane to touch on. We didn't see it until the final picks here. Lissandra into Yorick. Lissandra top
Yorick
hasn't
should
been...
not be able to solo kill Lissandra. I will say that. Should not be able to kill her. If he does, it was a travesty. So,
that means that that means Lissandra tried to go for an all-in and misjudged the damage, right? Like, Lissandra should be able to stay away from and poke. If Lissandra ever does get stuck in the cage, you just E out. You have your ult that can, heal yourself. You have your stun if Yorick ever gets close enough. You have all of your abilities are AoE, so you should be able to clear the ghouls relatively easily. I'm not exactly sure how the Q, in the W when the ghouls jump in, can you just press W right when they jump in and stun them, and you'll have enough AP to kill them. I don't know the exact interaction on that, but I think that's how it's going to work against the Yorick.
Well, we've got 1 minute and 30 seconds to go post an r/Yorick mains, because they're the only ones that are going to know.
Apparently. Does anyone know Mac Noon? Please get him to call in here on the Discord. Just give me his number. We'll hit him up. That being said, I don't think $3 bills. He's not gonna crush the split pushing. And the rest
of
Yorick
on here, they're just gonna complain about not getting another skin.
Jeez, that's probably true. Why don't we have a skin? We got a rework, but no skin.
And then Herdis will just pop in and go, "Shut up, allow you only have one."
That's probably very true. This now the synergies in this game are drastically different than the game one on both these teams. Other than the split pushing Yorick, we have a skirmish fight team on the side of Claptrap, and you have the same Cassiopeia Misfortune combo. But with Rakan, I don't know how that goes in well with Dive Buddies with Gragas, maybe. But the separation doesn't really help with Misfortune or Cassiopeia. It seems a little mismatched.
I think that the important things to look at here is that we're looking at two compositions that really want to get picks. Sure, the top laner on the side of Claptrap is going to be a lot more useful in enabling those picks. But let's be honest, Lissandra's just going to be on Yorick duty all day.
Yeah.
Going to be clearing waves and trying to stop the Yorick. So we can really sort of exclude the top laners for the most part, excluding Roams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So looking at these compositions, you see a Gragas who has CC, you see a Cassiopeia who wants to chase down, you got a Misfortune who wants people to come into them. You really just want to get picks on individual members that are caught out via the Vision. And I think that the Vision last game really went into the side of Claptrap. So I think that all things being equal, Claptrap should have a small advantage going into this game as long as they play safe and correctly.
Now, they're the team that can do that 3-1 or the 1-1-1-2 comp that I'm going to call the roaming jungle assassin with the possible split push mid laner roaming around and the AD carry that's just on like wave clear pushing tower duty compared to once again Outcast team comp seems like they all went on champions that look like they're comfortable with but I just sometimes there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of natural synergy, I should say. Or obvious synergy.
Not a whole lot of natural synergy. They're all very strong champions in their own right, including Yorick, even though he just dropped below 50% win rate for the first time in 2 years. Thank you, r/Yorick mains. A little tidbit of information, but I think that they're not going to have to worry about it too much. They're not going to have to force the synergy. If they play well, I think that they should be perfectly fine to just roll with the punches here, you know?
Yeah. As we see an invade coming out for the first time in, I think, any of these playoff matches. They want to try and get a vision on some blue buff. As Echo has laid down some Q poke on the invade, and they saw everyone walk in there and get the invade in and drop the ward. Braum returns with the same ward placement on Outcast blue buff. Echo lands yet another Q. He may be out of mana before laning phase starts of how many of those he's been throwing out.
He should be backing right now. He should have started backing the minute they threw out the second Q.
That was his fourth Q.
Or the last Q that I saw him throw out, he should have immediately started backing right after it.
So it looks like a bottom half of the map start on the side of both junglers here as the mid laners meet. We brushed over... Oh, the roll call, right. So, sorry. Claptrap, we have Alien Roll playing Lissandra top lane, Neoblum in the jungler on Kha'Zix, Lord Gemini, Echo in mid lane, CG Weddingham on Caitlyn, AD carry, Schmeck on support Braum. On the side of Team Outcast, $3 bill up top on York, Switchy on Gragas jungle, CLG Black Rose on Cassiopeia mid, TSM Pink Rose on Misfortune AD carry, and TSM Red Rose on Rakan support. Forgot that during the load phase because we were busy, making jokes about York.
I'm sure the $3 bill is going to appreciate that later on.
Well, he's like, hey man, don't make fun of my. And this is a champion that I have used myself in Vantage. So split push for the win, ladies and gentlemen. It sucks when the other team can't do anything about it. Well, it's good for you. The Echo versus Cassiopeia, we seem to just keep skipping over it. Any more details? Is it just Echo's just gonna have to just do his best to farm and roam, or
it's his job to try and farm and not take free tower shots like that?
Yeah, and does get the speed boost up, but took some autos and Q damage from it as well. As we see,
really, he just needs to farm. If he can just continue to farm up here, he'll be fine. Once he gets to one item, he'll be able to actually duel the Cassiopeia. That was a good flash.
Yep. So.
Oh, that was a good net.
Oh, that's the stun, and Rakan's gonna have to flash and get healed by the Misfortune. As we see Gragas going up here, looking for this Kha'Zix as Lissandra. Oh, by the way, I did watch the reaction in the bot lane. Is Braum's going to go in onto this Rakan again. He's going to have to jump away last second before he gets that stun procced. Rakan has taken so much damage. He's out of pots already, and we're not even 5 minutes in.
That was such a good net by Wedham there to deny the Red Roses engage, and he just tanks so much damage. I think he needs to be trying to respond to the Brahms mispositioning rather than trying to force plays himself. I think that's where he's going to find a lot of his money. And aileron roll just tanked. And there's flash.
Yep, there's the flash out. He didn't have enough mana for his E out. Now I did watch the reaction with the Lysandra's W with the ghouls, and it is basically the W plus 1 auto attack kills the ghoul. And in an earlier trade, didn't take any damage from them whatsoever when they jumped on her. The problem is, Lysandra is desperately mana hungry early on, and as you can see right now, doesn't have enough mana to stay in lane. And York's now going to be able to push up, and with the ghouls being summoned again, maybe in some trouble until Lysandra can, get that either catalyst or mana regenerated item that she's looking for.
Yeah, she's really gonna need to get a Roa in this top lane just to be able to have enough of a health pool to deal with Yorick moving on later in the game. And right now, she could back on a lost chapter, but really the issue is that aileron roll is just sort of tanking every E from the Yorick.
Yeah, as Kha'Zix is actually just going to walk into York, walks right into a bush. This is the trouble. York can walk through that wall. Flashes comes out, and Flash comes out, and first blood yet again to the Kha'Zix as we're going to go down to the bot lane, and we see Caitlyn's going to able to defend off of this with the help of Braum. Caitlyn burnt Flash and heal, wasn't able to make it down here to see that, and Braum did get his passive stack, so a stun got off on the Gragas, probably to finish off that. We just talked about it in Game 1. It's come true so far in Game 2. Kha'Zix with the first blood, getting his red smite early, looking really strong for this champion.
Yeah, I'm really looking for Black Rose to get his tier buy, because once he manages to have a mana pool where he can abuse the Echo, that's really where the lane's going to turn for him, especially somebody who's mained the champ 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of BM. Now, Echo had backed and picked up boots, but I don't know. His ult isn't on cooldown, and neither is his teleport. So did he just walk back to lane?
He must have.
It's interesting that he was able to get away with that and still only be down 4 CS. I know he just was able to push a wave into tower himself. That's kind of an interesting play how that happened.
You got to think about how Black Rose's mana pool was. Black Rose didn't actually have the mana to push back, so I think what ended up happening was that Lord Gemini bash pushed a wave, right? Black Rose tried to clear to counter shove, and by the time that he had counter shoved because of his lack of mana, Gemini was back in lane.
Yeah. Oh. Well, that's interesting that we see the first Ocean Drake is going to be the one here in this one. And we see some pink wards coming out on side. Braum and Kha'Zix are collapsing down in here onto this jungle coming in. Misfortune does have flash and heal up. There's the exhaust with the Q trying to flash into the minions. Knock up and heals coming from Rakan as the Q comes out. More damage as flash from Braum and exhaust was using that. So in favor of TSM Pink Rose in that trade, only burnt flash.
Yeah, that was a very good flash. That was exactly what he needed to do. He needed to get up into the minions in order to use them as body blocks so that he could slow the progress of the Kha'Zix and Braum coming down on him with impeding doom and very nasty intentions.
With Gragas, though, showing for that top lane gank, they're going to try and go in onto this and get an early Ocean Drake, which is going to be really good for him. Cassiopeia ult comes out, does land on 2, as there's the ult coming out on the side, and they're trading in the top lane, and ults finish on both sides, and Lysandra is going to barely stick alive, but here comes the Maiden, and with the Maiden coming out and no health or mana on the side of Lysandra, she really needs to back and TP into this if she wants to stick around. York's just going to let his...
$3 bill had flash. It would be dead. Aileron roll would just be dead right now.
Yeah. The
auto Q, you're done.
Oh, Aileron roll, you're playing with fire, buddy. I know you really want to get rid of this Maiden.
Literally just go up and try and cage him. Come on, $3 bill. Come on.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen either, but
Top laners are probably just going to have to back their... Rakan's going to go in with the dash. Does land a Q with the stun. Missed the knockup, though. Wetham's been putting on a pretty good show today on his 80 carry skills. Has landed the nets at the right time down in bot lane. And other than a couple of misfortune ults that didn't go his favor, showed pretty good showing on the misfortune last game, too.
yeah, I think that Wetham was playing pretty well. Like I said, I think he's going to be one of the keys to carrying this if they're able to pull it out here.
Now, the trading pattern's been in slight favor of Misfortune so far in this lane. And she does have the extra CS, as we see a gank up in top lane. And York's going to go and misses the E there as he tries to finish off the Lissandra, dodging in and out of the bush here. And Alan rolls just trying to play bait. Second kill for Kha'Zix. This time, the assist going over to Lissandra. Desperately needs some gold as she was down the 12 CS. And getting pushed in really hard.
I don't think that Aileron roll actually had to flash there. I think that he would have just been perfectly fine to just take it a little bit shorter of an E there. And
Niblem's going to jump away right as the Gragas ult landed at his feet. And he's going to stay alive. And, this Lord Gemini trying to get a ton of damage. Cassiopeia is going to land so much as the ground is going to keep him there. The ult turns in return, but no stun, and he's going to have to jump off. Flash is coming in with the help of Kha'Zix. Going to go down. Gragas shows up just in time to finish off the other mid laner. So the junglers take some kills, and the mid laners are dead even 0-1-1 with 58 CS.
Yeah, I think that still ends up in the favor of Claptrap here, because the Kha'Zix needs the gold for the snowball. We know that Kha'Zix can carry, right? Gragas isn't going to be as influential as a Fed Kha'Zix in that respect, right?
Oh, and Schmeck did block most of the Misfortune ult in the bot lane, but some of it, enough of it got through to the fact that, the Caitlyn is at less than half health. Braum is about half health.
I think overall that's an acceptable trade for them, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they necessarily have to take the best trades. They just have to get through this laning phase because Caitlyn's going to be a lot more useful than Misfortune in the mid game, or should be.
Hopefully, yeah, that's theoretically, as we see it. Kha'Zix apparently just wants to feed on this dead man. I don't know if it's going to be in time. Nemo's going to try and finish it off as Lissandra comes in with the stun, and the ult takes down the York. Kha'Zix dealt the damage. Lissandra came in for the killing blow.
Well played on the side of Claptrap there. Really good communication and collapse there.
Now, this is part of the problem here. $3 bill has a pink ward and in his item slot, and needs, if he's going to be pushed up so much, he's got to have to play defensive wards so he can, escape, because he doesn't have an escape, as we see people fighting over the Rift Herald now. And York's actually going to teleport to top lane instead of fight in this battle. We'll see if they want to go in onto each other or if they're just working on finishing off the Rift Herald. Gragas is going to come in with the body slam. Echo's going to be the one to take it. Gets body knocked into his stun, which lands on the Cassiopeia and Kha'Zix. Now they're going to run away on the Scuttle Crab. That was an interesting interaction.
They should have been turning that immediately. The switching and Black Rose could have 2v3'd that. They had no mana.
They probably could have, and their bot lane was roaming up here to support them as well. That probably really quickly could have turned into, if anything, a 5v3 at worst, as we see them run now back down the bot lane. We'll see if Misfortune can get any damage on this tower. It's going to go down to about half, but Braum and Echo and Caitlyn are on their way, and they're charging in. Braum's going to go straight in on the 80 carry. He's like, I don't care. With the ult, does get the knockup on Misfortune. Jumps in, Rakan. Not sure if that was the best move. Does get the charm into the wombo combo, but there's the Braum wall. Misfortune still gets 2 through it. And now with Kha'Zix down here, Gragas is going to try and get some return damage. Maybe go for a kill. Caitlyn with the net backs off. Cassiopeia, though, has got some nice time farming in mid lane.
Just when you thought that it was safe to think that you weren't going to be playing against misfortunes. What do you thought? They nerfed her twice, and they nerfed her items. What is this champion?
Yeah. And the next dragon has spawned. It's going to be a mountain dragon. You gotta love the spectator mode. It says everything's whatchamacallit?
Fire Drake.
Fire Drake. Gragas in this misfortune, I think they want to go for first tower here in this bot wave, or because Kha'Zix is in mid lane trying to hold that one down. And actually, we may have a race here as Cassiopeia just back does not have a way to get back here. No ghost or teleport. Gragas was just in the bot lane. There's the charge. There is first tower. And yet another usage of the Rift Herald in this team play that's seen really good play, and using the Rift to get first tower is an excellent objective as we see Echo killing Rakan, who came in from behind. At the same time, Yorick finally finishes off Lissandra up in top wave.
Did we prophesy it? I mean, it just, I can't help but feel like that the Yorick should not be getting kills in that top lane. It seems like that could be an issue moving forward through this game, especially when he started out 0-3. I guess this is just $3 bills. Area of expertise is just a champion. Don't mess with them.
A relentless aggression here. I think the problem Aelan Roll is having is he doesn't have any mana regen other than the 2 Doran's rings, and he gets down to the point where he can't clear the waves and just the crashing of the minions in the waves on his tower, and he's trying to use his body as a shield to keep his tower up. But as soon as they got first tower, there's no need to do that anymore. And just your tower's going to go down eventually. Just let it. I mean, at some point you just got to let it go down. Let it take all the poke damage.
You know, it's really a treat watching Black Rose play Cassiopeia. It's obviously not perfect, but it's nice to see somebody who's comfortable on the champion. You don't see it very much.
Yeah, Rakan's going to go in and then jump out, but took half of his life as he got the knock-up on nobody. The Rakan engage has been extremely lackluster so far down in this bottom, but
yeah, hate him for trying though. Like,
no,
he's trying to make something happen. He's trying to let Pink Rose carry. It's really the only boon that they have on their team right now is that Pink Rose is fairly strong and is playing this flame well.
And we see some flashes as we kept going in and onto the misfortune and the great actually Rakan ult. The charm got on all 3 members and stopped the Caitlyn ult, which would have killed misfortune, but Nibelheim was able to flash Q. As we're going to swap to mid lane here and watch Gragas try and get in onto Echo, but that's a slippery man with a golden bat.
A golden bat.
I don't know what his weapon is technically called, but Rakan is, you know, trying to prevent his tower from going down.
I'm unsure of what Echo actually uses, to be honest. It's some sort of bat type device.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's half of their own gold HP with 1 Q.
And he has Seeker's arm guard. Like he had.
That's the breaks, right?
Like he has a defensive armor item. Like, I mean,
Oh, here
there's.
comes the Kha'Zix gank again. See if
Well, this is where Kha'Zix needs to be going, right? Kha'Zix just need to be like, okay, top lane is having some problems. There's no dragon on the map. My bot lane's doing decent well enough after that last gank down there. I need to make sure this Lissandra doesn't fall too far behind. Is going to be able to keep up with the pressure of this Echo, Yorick, who's been consistently hard pushing. That's all he has done all game.
I mean, that's sort of the MO of the champion, right? It's why he's not at like the professional level of play, is that he is very one-dimensional.
Oh.
That's all he does. He pushes. He does it very
Come on,
well.
Braum with the jump is able to get back, but the Gragas ult pushes him back into his teammate, and there's the misfortune ult, and Caitlyn's going to flash out of it. Gragas is looking to lands a nice barrel, finish off and make it rain. Lands with the coconuts. Not enough, and Lissandra's going to go down in the top lane to the Yorick, but Echo is Kha'Zix was in the gank there, making that happen. As we see, that's how it goes on. But Echo has taken tier 2 in mid lane now, and tier 2 in mid is much stronger than tier 1 in bot. And Echo's going to try and join Kha'Zix up here in top lane that take down that tier 1. The towers are being traded back much quicker, back and forth here, and this game is, we're at the 20-minute mark, and we're still within 3K of each other in gold. We're really close.
Yeah, it's very good to see this level of play in the finals, but it's really starting to snowball in the favor of Claptrap here. I think that everything's sort of going the way that they want it to. It's going to be very difficult to enable this misfortune to be relevant against a 5-0 Kazakhs, just like we saw last game.
Now, Kazakhs has only gotten 1 kill in the bot lane, but all of his kills have been onto basically the Yorick in top, which has allowed Helio and Roll to stay on the same level. Maybe not the same CS, but the same level as Yorick. We saw last game that Galio play was down 2 to 3 levels at times, and was just absolutely getting obliterated. Now Caitlyn with the the Hurricane's going to be able to go. Gragas is absolutely taking so much damage. Cassiopeia ult, great ult into the grounded. Knocks away the 2 teammates with the ult as they're probably trying to go in. Cassiopeia finishes off the Echo as we see some more fighting down in bot lane as Rakan's going to go in and try and take out the Caitlyn. Caitlyn's flash Q from Misfortune is going to finish that one here as Kazakhs is going to get the double kill in mid lane as we check back in on bot lane as Braum the Sport trying to run away. Misfortune burns the ult and finishes off Braum down there. York and Lysandra fighting it up here, and Lysandra was taken down to a quarter health up here.
So much action going down there, and you see the Cassiopeia mechanics really coming out. I think that if Kazakhs had had like 1 or 2 less kills worth of gold, just like 300 gold differential on stats there, Cass would have gotten the double kill. Very, very close. Yeah, their own roll might be struggling here. Okay.
I really think he needs some type of mana regen item. I mean, Morello Namicon at this point wouldn't be that too bad of an item. Cut down on that healing from the York on his Qs at least, if you can get him to half health.
If he goes Roa again, I'm going to have to question some things.
Yeah, Echo is now going to be the one to try and come up here and deal with this. He's just going to go in, kind of clear out some minions here and the ghouls. Echo's going to take out the ward. I'm going to check in on Braum. And that is a Mountain Drake that has just spawned. So Gragas is going to go in here on the Braum, who's just returning.
Is it a Mountain Drake?
It is no fire. What did I say?
Yeah.
No, my apologies. It is a fire. Rakan misses that engage. As we see, Kazakhs is going to jump into 4 people and gets stunned by the Cassiopeia. Gragas ult as knocks people away. Cassiopeia trying to get enough. Bam, in with the spams of the Qs. Flash into the bush is Braum. Now Caitlyn's running up towards her minion wave away from, Kazakhs just to try and, stall for time here. Allow Kazakhs to come in the backside.
Good night, sweet prince.
With Caitlyn going down, the top lane battle basically just being the top lane battle, we'll see if Echo and Kazakhs want to go in here. There is the Misfortune ult and the Rakan ult still up. This is a, like we said, Fire Drake. They probably want to fight for this, but at the same time, I don't know.
They should just be transitioning this and doing Inferno right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing, messing around.
They're waiting for the junglers here as we see Gragas going to go in, and there's the stun coming out. Echo's going to go straight in onto the backline, jump onto the Cassiopeia, and fight off the Misfortune, while the 2 support and the jungler go after the Kazakhs. Lots of damage here, and Echo's probably just going to smoke through this Misfortune here, and waiting for the ult to pop, trying to jump around Gragas with Body Slam. Now, Misfortune ran the wrong way. Braum has had enough time to come back from the ult, and gets knocked out by Rakan because there's no ult in the grounding situation. The charm lands on the Rakan on the Braum, but Kazakhs here as he's able to double jump from Gragas to Cassiopeia with the shields. They waited too long. Braum was able to come back just in time to save Kazakhs. Echo paid for it with his life, but now they have the priority on the dragon.
Yeah, I think that this was just a little bit of indecision, indecisiveness, just not really wanting to pull the trigger on a play that they thought could be risky. I think that they could have just straight up gone directly towards the Infernal Drake and dealt with the Echo and Kazakhs if they came in. But even if they came in, it would be a 2v4. Instead of trying to force this fight, take the objective, get the 3% scaling damage, and get out of it,
Now, Helio Roll is in a bad position. He's going to have to escape and burn flash. York's burn flash as well. Throws out the thing. Can he pop the W? Does. And as we see, Kazakh's going to jump in here and probably get another kill here on the York. as the ghouls are not going to help him. So much healing, though, on the side of York. Kha'Zix
Needs the maiden.
is here.
He ran away from the maiden.
He did. And Braum now is here with the stuns. And there's the Gragas ult, but Kha'Zix does not have wings leveled up yet, so does not get the reset on the jumps. Caitlyn and Echo are backing up from the Cassiopeia. And it does look actually like that is a Proto Belt next item on the side of Lysandra. I'm not going to... Probably a decent... Give him a little bit more tanks, better engage mobility, as we see Rakan with a double man stun. Braum gets a stun as well. Kha'Zix is absolutely ripping through these champions in this match, as you know, Echo gonna get onto the Gragas, and Cassiopeia is with Misfortune here, trying to stay in front of the Baron, and Gragas is back here. Echo trashing back in. These champions going back in and out. There's the Ignite onto and the Misfortune ult is going to go right into Braum's shield. No protection there. Kha'Zix is going to go down there. York has actually had time to come back to mid lane, teleported to minions with the Lyssandra's now here with the Proto Belt in. Echo is going to dash in, land an auto attack. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. York's now throwing out E's, but there's no damage here. There's the ult from Lysandra and the stun over the wall. Caitlyn landing so much auto attack damage. Saw 1 or 2 crits in there as well. Yeah, fighting.
Yeah, so that was a whole bunch of buttons that just got pressed. It didn't really look like either team sort of had any direction moving into that. They just sort of ran at each other and said, who can push our buttons harder?
It's just like, my tower hasn't died yet.
Yes. Yes, we've done it. My tower's alive.
And Braum was able to jump in on that Misfortune and block the entire ult, and has got to the point where he's tanky enough that he lived through it.
Barely,
barely, but the fact that he ate the entire thing, lived through it, just meant that the fights just kept happening, because someone would just get low enough to be re-engaged on, and that would bring everyone else on their team back in, as it looks like Echo wants to go back in it again with the help of Braum. This Gragas is going to get stunned up. Misfortune's going to lay out some damage. There's the ult, knocks the Echo back in, throw some Qs. Hey, we got a redemption!
I think that that fight was actually a symptom of some of the itemization. We've been talking a lot about the itemization of the different players here, just sort of suboptimal pathing. And right now we see Misfortune, who has a Ghost Blade and Infinity Edge. If you're going to go lethality, go lethality. If you're going to go crit, go crit. You can't double dip on Misfortune like somebody like Jhin. If you're going to build an Infinity Edge, then build an Essence Reaver second and go that path. But you're going to just completely hurt your DPS output if you try and double dip. At least if you're not going to lethality items first and then going into like a rapid fire cannon, third, fourth item.
And the alien roll burns the ult up in top lane as he was getting absolutely crushed. He's using his body once again to block for this tower. I commend him for, you know, being relentless at keeping his tower up, but at 28 minutes in the game, eventually you're going to have to let your the top lane tower go. You're down about, you know, 40 CS here at this moment here, as Gragas once again gets caught out, and the teleport now from Lysandra is going to be finished. Sorry, Echo, wrong teleporter. And now with the jungler gone, put the pressure on Baron. I know or York, actually, in this matter. York just dropped the ZZ Rot. He's going to be stuck between... He's stuck between, you know, jeez. Everyone's in the cage there with him. And he's going to flash out in the cage, but I don't think that's going to matter. The slow Kha'Zix with the W. But by getting the kill on York, they did give up the tower in mid lane. Caitlyn did a nice job stalling that one out. Lyssandra's going to take care of that ZZ Rot. But this Kha'Zix... This Kha'Zix in Echo...
You gotta actually kill the Rod there, Aileron.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's Baron. 29 minutes, or just under 29 minutes here with Baron. What's the play here? I see yellow trinkets on the side, basically for everyone on the Claptrap, minus the support, where a lot of yellow trinkets still. Well, never mind. We're switching to a lot of blue trinkets there on the side of Outcast. You're behind. You got to place those, those vision out without being caught. And once again, the Kha'Zix is catching people out.
Yeah, I think that the play right here is just to move towards this. Is that a second Fire Drake again? It is. So, second Fire Drake, you want to move towards that and pick that up really quickly. Get these waves pushing and then just ignore the Yorick. Just straight up ignore him. You've held the tier 1 for this long. Group, just send Lissandra mid to wave clear. Send the other 4 bot lane.
Yeah, Gragas body slammed right into Braum, who lays down the ult because he saw the 3 members behind him as just a disengage tool, and you just talked on it. Echo with the Baroned up minions goes in on this tower. He needs to get out of here as we have 4 men collapsing on here. Lissandra's like, I'm going back to my top lane, guys. This York ain't taking my tower this game. Oh, never mind. I think he's just going to straight up kill TSM Pink Rose. Looks at Red Rose and says, may want to go for you too. He now has to dash around and try and get around the Gragas because he has enough time for the stun. He does not, but the slow allows his team to go in and take the mid lane tower, and they're going to be able to get this inhibitor. Lissandra lost the top lane tower as they're going to take the inhibitor, and not enough. Caitlyn's going to go down for it. I think 1 tower, mid lane tower, and an inhibitor for 2 deaths, although Rakan trying to go in there and get more, not going to be able to collect on any of that.
Something about taking a large shovel to the face, or a guitar in this case, seems like it would kill Caitlyn fairly quickly. But it was a very good rotation there, just allowing the Echo to float bide some time while they pushed in the mid lane. That was really well executed by Claptrap. If not the cleanest play by Lord Gemini, a good adaptation and movement towards their advantageous position on the side of blue here.
Now, Braum actually is doing a fairly decent job of just eating the Maiden there and all of the damage that she can pump out. We're at this point, though, where Kha'Zix, I don't know if unless he's getting in onto Misfortune, Rakan has gone the Talisman speed-up item with the Swifty Boots, with the Ardent Sensor. He's able to, in his own build, like I said, get in on the AD carry, the immobile AD carry with no support around. That's the only thing he's going to be able to do unless he can get on the Cassiopeia late. But with the AD carry down, that's probably another free tower. Shifty
Whoa, that flash on Black Rose, though, that seemed very, very unprovoked. I think that was just a straight-up wasted summoner spell.
Gragas is going to try to tank as much damage as he can. Lissandra's 2 flow swords,
that was a good
and
ult.
There's an ult onto Gragas, followed by the ult by Caitlyn, and York is now here. Has to drop the ZZ Rot in defense. Now, they changed ZZ Rot. It's not really good at killing minions. It's only good at killing towers. It's a pseudo defense at best.
I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's not much better than nothing.
I mean, the best part here right now is the fact that I guess Baron is going to be wearing off these champions here, if has not already, as Echo has collected the bot wave farm, and what is now a setup for a 4-1 for Claptrap. They do have 2 fires and an ocean and a mountain to just help them, continue out the damage.
Yeah, I think that what they should be
Rakan's going to go in and make the Caitlyn flashes. Looks like we're going to a full team gaze, and Misfortune's going to bull ult, and this has been absolutely star-studded as Lissandra has to burn Protobelt to try and get in, and possibly gets a stun in time for the Kha'Zix to not regen, as she's going to go down trying to take the blast spot out. Kha'Zix was able to stay out of that the entire time. Just that impressive wombo of York being able to wrap them all up in that cage and take them out in the Misfortune ults.
They're going to have to do that about 3 to 4 more times in order to really be in this game again. I think just the amount of towers and pressure that has been taken away from them by Claptrap at this point in the game.
Niblum is really strong, and right now Switchy has gone full defensive. He's gone Locket and that Gargoyle Stone Plate item for his defense. So not only is he getting shields on top of health, and he's still being absolutely rocked by the Kha'Zix Q.
Yeah, Kha'Zix is 14-1, man. Like, and the GA changes actually were a pseudo buff to Kha'Zix because he always wanted to buy GA anyways. It's just really hard to fit in his build path, and they said, well, why don't we just put a BF on it?
Yeah. Kha'Zix and Echo with some pressure here in the bot lane make the Cassiopeia burn ult, and we now see Rakan jumping in onto Echo, who's going to ult back, and everything's going to miss because it's charmed only on the Braum, and Echo just get into the shield. No, he does not. Kha'Zix is going to have to jump out, and Braum's trying to jump to him as well. Rakan's the one jumping now, and there's the redemption coming out. Not in a good spot as, you know, Kha'Zix is able to escape, but with 40 seconds coming up on Dragon, he's going to have to back and come back to this thing immediately because, I mean, they will be able to take Dragon, even if it's just to keep it away from Claptrap.
Yeah, it's more of just trying to keep it away from Claptrap here. They can't afford to let them get a double Fire Drake boost. Four Fire Drakes? That's insane. It's a ridiculous amount of value. You can't let somebody get that much value out of it. You know, they're going to get plus 32% damage if they ever get an Elder Drake this game. Plus 32%. It's a nut. Like, you think that Nelvium's bursting people now? Watch him burst the full paying $3 bill.
Yeah, as we see Misfortune running down here as Elder does spawn. Baron actually has spawned about 5 seconds later, as well as we have Lissandra split pushing. She does have teleport up, so she should be able to reach this fight. Echo in his mobility is going to come in here. We may be looking for this 5-man team fight here, and we'll see how it goes as we see some poke damage coming out. Dragon. And here comes the Echo speed, and the jump in, and Rakan with the 4-man charm, not allowing anyone to get in. He's going to go down for it, but his team's going to pick up Dragon and into the stun and the Misfortune ult as we see the true damage burn going in as Nilbum's going to jump in and try and get onto this carry. He's not going to be able to get enough damage. He does take out one. This entire time, Lissandra's up in top lane pushing. He's coming back from the reses. Echo's going to dive in, trying to help his buddy. Lands a Q. Cassiopeia is going to be able to live. Protobelt out is enough, and Braum is the one here with the shield, and this entire time, Helio Roll was up in top lane. He does have a okay minion wave. Where are you 3 minions going? You're going the wrong way for him, and that recall time is going to be enough. He's going to have to just back here. He shouldn't stick around. And with the Dragon here, I wonder, what is this Baron going to look like here in the next few seconds? That was a 5v4, plus they got the Dragon on it. It does go in favor of the side of Outcast.
Yeah, that was a very good play. I think it was very important that they made that play there. I don't think that Claptrap had to take that. We have an open inhibitor in the mid lane. We've got Lissandra pushing top lane. Let them take the nigh worthless Elder Dragon. Give it to them. Push down mid lane, force their inhibs, make them make a decision between
Lissandra's going to go in here and burn her ult and her E, and Rakan's going to go in and dance. She's not even going to get a chance to use her Zonias. Does she have Zonias? Yes, she does. Or Protobelt. Baron's going to go down now. Echo's going to go back to the split push up in top lane, and now they're going to have Baron up recall. This has gone really bad for them in this quick fight unless Echo can take this inhibitor and get out. Kha'Zix actually gets the kill on Cassiopeia before he gets finished off, and now it's Echo's run for his life as he has to use his Protobelt. Does get jumped on, and he finishes off one. Ult gets out with some damage, trying to run this way as Rakan flashes as here comes the Kha'Zix to try and finish off one kill. So much speed on this Echo at this point with the Lich Bane as well, and the support's probably going to go down here as yes, he is finished off. That is 2 Barons and 2 Dragons taken off the map in their favor and 1 inhibitor. They're playing with fire, and this time it went slightly in their favor for Claptrap.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of little risks that Claptrap takes that aren't necessary. They have such a lead. They have so much just base stats from the Infernal Drakes, the Mountain Drake, the Ocean Drake. They've got 4 dragons. They can just play this game more calm and controlled, and I think that they'll have a pretty good win percentage here anyways. But they want to play on the wild side, and hey, it's the finals.
They're going to go in and try and take down this second inhibitor. And with that going down, Cassiopeia lands a nice grounded. And she's going to flash in and get an ult off, and only thing really landed on Braum. And they're just going to say, leave the support. But Caitlyn's going to land some DPS from the backside, and the Hurricane looks like going to take down the Cassiopeia. And we have redemptions going off on both teams to try and get some healing. And we back away. We're at the 40-minute part here, Sticks. Alon rolls near, I mean, all these champions are near full build. Kha'Zix has been there for a little bit. Echo has got one more item to finish. Cassiopeia has, I guess, 2 items left to finish because she doesn't have to get boots. The AD carries are, finishing their final items. The supports are near full builds. Junglers are, basically there as well. What does each team have to do to close this game out?
I think that right now, Outcast just has to capitalize on all of these little risks that Claptrap is making. Now they're making very, very risky calls when they enter this mid to late game, trying to make power plays when they're really at a point that everybody is scaled that they can't just force their hand on a lot of these plays anymore. Claptrap needs to just do what they're doing, but do it in a safer way. Make higher percentage calls and use the power of your Lissandra now that she's unlocked from having to split away from this Yorick here. You take this 5-man group, you push bot, and you allow your minions to do a lot of the work for you. And it doesn't matter that they have a Baron or a Dragon buff. You're going to eventually be able to pressure towers with the power of the super minion.
Now we are looking past the 40-minute mark here. The ward coverage has started to, is still in favor of Claptrap on this bottom half of the map. They have dropped a ton of wards to watch out for any teleport flanks on the side of York, who's not really a great teleport flanker, but can do it in necessity here, as they have supers pushing in the top and bottom waves. Mid a little bit better than top at the moment, but that top wave should get there here within the next wave or two. Echoes kind of push in this mid wave, and they're just trying to get Caitlyn to this tower. Is it just patience?
Need to be patient. They just need to be patient. Just let your minions do the work for you. You don't have to force any fights. You don't have to do anything spectacular. Just give respect to their cooldowns and push in this bot lane.
As the mid and top laners are pushing in their lanes respectively, mid and top, York in the Zizirot portal are trying to push out the wave down here in bot lane, as he has been left, it looks like, to be the only one kind of to push in as the waves. The juggling here is really important.
They seem to be doing it fairly well. They seem to be juggling it fairly appropriately. It's really difficult because...
and Echo just goes straight in and kills the Gragas, who doesn't pop the Locket or the Stoneborn plank. Caitlyn is just going to fight York with the help of Braum, trying to get as much damage done as possible. He's going to flash ult coming out from Caitlyn. Not enough to take down the Caitlyn. Rakan's going to go with the shield. But Echo's going to dump in right after that shield had dissipated, takes down the York. And with the York, the 2 tanky members gone, supers in top and mid. We have the next inhibitor going down. The inhibitors are being respawned. If I heard the voiceover lady correctly, Echo's going to maybe try and go in here on the side, get a nice large shield. That's more than half of his health. Cassiopeia, Proto Belt's actually out. There's a redemption that just heal up their members on the side of Outcast, as it looks like Claptrap may be rolling towards Caitlyn's dealing work on this tower down here. Rakan go in with the jump and going to get absolutely bursted, and Kha'Zix is going to get nearly taken out entirely by the AP damage from Cassiopeia. Redemption comes out, and Braum is trying to shield as much as he can. Kha'Zix taking down Rakan. Braum's supports have dropped, but the top and bottom inhibitors now, so we will have double supers here for the next about 10 seconds here, or 15 seconds, until I think this mid inhibitor responds, with double supers in all the lanes and Baron spawning in a minute. This is really looking good for Claptrap.
Yeah, it's pretty much the rule at most of the mid to high elos that if you get 3 inhibs, the game's over. You've won the game. They have to make some really big blunders here to toss this. It's going to be very difficult to lose this game for Claptrap here. They've got to lose one big team fight, and like they have to be in a position where they can not only ace Claptrap, but they can push through and get an inhib without losing their base. And with 3 inhibs, it's very difficult to get. Well, 2 inhibs now at the mid respawn, but the important thing is that it's the side inhib. The side inhibs will always crash in Nexus towers because of the way that the super minions actually approach the towers. They can actually take down the individual towers, whereas if you took down only the mid inhibitor, you would never be able to kill any of the Nexus towers with those super minions. Just a little tidbit.
Gragas is, maybe looking to try and get in here a Baron Seal. York has sent the Maiden and the ZZ Rot into bot lane to try and peel them off as well. There is a ward in the back of this pit. We'll see if Gragas is going to go in here for the Seals. They're trying to watch him come over the side. Does it come in? But Caitlyn's actually going to secure that. And that's going to be a dead Gragas as he goes over the wall. And with the jungler gone, Cassiopeia maybe looks to go in. Gets absolutely obliterated by Echo. Finishing off for Khan. There's 2 more deaths. And with only the York and Misfortune, there's probably not enough wave clear considering the Maidens in bot lane with the ZZ Rot to stop this push.
So the question, is it the power of Kha'Zix, or is it that these players were individually having good games on the team?
I want to say it's a mixture of both. The Kha'Zix allows maybe a certain play style of pick potential, and that allowed, into $3 Bill's ability to, or style of pushing forward aggressively all the time, allowed Kha'Zix to pick up kills. The bot lane seemed to go, once again, in favor of CJ and Schmeck. They seem to be able to control the wave in that time down there. A little bit behind in CS due to some ganks. And mid lane looked almost dead even. It seems like the more impactful, skirmishy, killing jungler has been much better than the tanky jungler in both games.
So we're tied 1-1 in this final game here. It's been very good games altogether, I would say. Very, very controlled, slow. Well, snowbally, but controlled at the same time, if that makes any sense. I feel like both teams have really not made any huge blunders. It's just been very good plays on the side of, on either side. Just good plays, not mistakes.
Okay, so they probably want to get the next game here started up pretty quick. I need to get some more water. I have no sticks. Probably you need to take a little bit of a breather break as well. So
yeah.
in tradition of league play here, before the next game, we don't have game 5s. We only get to game 3s. Silver Scrapes is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you in a few minutes.
So hold our heads up high and beat the drum to what we love. Risk the fall, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of the world that we defy. The soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light.
Okay, and we are back. There will be a sub for Team Outcast in the AD carry position. TSM Pink Rose had to step aside for Game 3. Sometimes playing this many games in a night can be troublesome for the best of us at any times, and we will be having Santa's Helper Elf come in as the sub 80 carry, and Styx, are you there? I don't know if Styx is back yet or not, but we have started.
My thing is, like, is it actually Santa's, like, personal helper elf? Is it like a position? Is it the executive elf in charge, or
Draven out.
what's going on there? I just had a knock on my door. I'll be back.
Okay. So we will be breaking down, and it looks like they've banned Draven, so the quick OPGGing of the new support of the new player says his most played AD carry is Draven. In last 2 seasons, top 2 are Draven Lucian. So they're just going to get rid of the Draven right away instead of the Vayne that they were using on TSM Pink Rose. So they just transitioned over to their bands to the new 80 carry. This is why you don't look at chat. Power steering. Oh. Okay, and Kha'Zix is going to be the final ban instead of... I can't remember what the bans were. Lee Sin, I think, was the ban that they were banning out instead of against Switchy. So they do not want Switchy on the Kha'Zix. We'll see if $3 bill insta-locks in that Yorick once again to roll up in the top lane, whereas Team Outcast ran with the same bans against Claptrap here. Claptrap had changing it up just a little bit, as the Kha'Zix was extremely impressive on both the junglers in the early game, getting kills and basically being able to snowball their lanes to great advantages, taking Rift Herald, taking towers with Rift Herald, getting all of the dragons. And there's the Lee Sin that was banned out in games 1 and 2 against Switchy. They're going to be picking up for him right away. There's probably a particular reason why Switchy's been on the Lee Sin, why the ban has been there. Okay, they were once again throwing the champions around. Neoblom known for the trolliest of trolls, and cycling, I think, probably through every champion in the lineup that Riot has. While Alon Roll shows the constant Urgot. And I will actually pull up the chat. here just to make sure there we know no proxy picks, as we have a Niblum on the Master Yi. Now, that is a Master Yi. That doesn't look like a proxy pick at all. And there's the Braum for Schmeck. They had good confidence in the Braum play in the last game. He did a fairly good job of blocking most of, if not all, of Miss Fortune's ult damage when she did get it off. So just showing that champion early allows maybe put some ideas into the enemy team about which AD carry they want to run. Now, that's a Jax.
Is that a Jax locked in?
That's a Jax locked in. That's also a Master Yi. Jax is Nautilus.
Okay, so that's a Nautilus, which is still technically a flex pick. I'm very interested in the Yi and the Lee Sin. They actually gave Switchy his Lee Sin this game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad decision moving into the last game of the finals.
Well, they looked at the sub player and went, okay, we were getting rid of TSM Rose's most played AD carry, so let's get rid of Sanda's helpers. Most played AD carry, which is Draven in this instance. Lucian is his second most played AD carry, so he swaps right over that. And by picking the Braum, you still get the shield. The Braum Caitlyn, still the good strong lane there. Lord Gemini going back on the Echo. Now, Master Yi, we saw the Kazakhs being able to out-gank and out-damage in the early game. Lee Sin can fall into that same mold. I don't think Master Yi does. Master Yi goes back on that farming stuff, but late game, Master Yi could go up against the split-pushing Yorick if needed.
Are we going to get to that late game potential for the Master Yi? I mean, we're talking about, like, you need a 4-item Master Yi to be able to just walk up and fight a Yorick, if then. You know, it's not going to be an easy task. He's going to need a Deadman. He's going to need 2 damage items. He's probably going to need a Skirmisher Saber and a Blade of the Rune King just to be able to chunk through him. Like, it's going to be quite the task to actually be able to deal with this Yorick as the Master Yi. And Lord Gemini getting back onto this Echo here, he had an extremely strong performance. So we're going to have a lot more issues moving through here than you'd think. And a Renekton coming out in the top lane. We'll see what Aileron Roll decides to counter it with. But
Sivir is Cassiopeia.
Sivir is Cassiopeia?
Yep. And Renekton is Renekton. So that's not going to be... They're not going to go with the roll with the Yorick for the third start game. They're going to go for the lane bully dominant Renekton. He has been tweaked with in the last couple of patches. I wonder if $3 Bill has had enough time in practice to put into learn the combos.
If you were already decent at Renekton, you should be able to integrate it fairly easily. Really, the biggest change was that you can now cancel your W animation with your Q animation, which is a huge, huge deal for people who are decent at Renekton. I'm unsure of how much it's actually going to affect things at this level of play, but if he is decent at it, I don't think that it's really... Oh, right, we're getting the proxies.
Yes, the proxies.
What was the enemy team's top laner?
Galio. It looks like Aileron Roll is going to roll with the Galio again.
I know that it's his most comfortable champion. I hope that he can handle the lane pressure from Renekton.
Hopefully, it's... but against, the Cassiopeia, and then you have the Lee Sin and the Lucian. Maybe we'll be seeing him go for the Ninja Tab by this time instead of going for those Merc Treads just to help reduce the damage coming in. But you never know until, it gets started. So...
you got 3 people on their main champions. Like, it seems very much in the favor of blue side right now.
Yeah, well, Lord Gemini definitely put up a pretty strong showing on that Echo into the Cassiopeia. It seemed to be fairly even until the mid-game skirmishes came around, and Echo and his team did more damage, took more towers, got more kills than Cassiopeia's team, and as a result, Cassiopeia fell behind, and Echo was able to do more. Still, Cassiopeia was still able to output a lot of damage in those team fights if no one was able to get on her, whether it be the Echo or the Kha'Zix. In this instance, no one's getting on the back line unless you have Master Yi going for like a really deep Q into the back line, followed with a Galio ult. But once again, that's kind of looking like from game 1, the Rammus into the back line with the Galio ult is not really the best delivery system for that tank.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that it was anything wrong with the play of the Cassiopeia. I think that Lord Gemini just had a very strong showing in the mid to late game there. He made some very clutch key plays, and I'm excited to see him play this Echo again because it really was a joy to watch.
Now we've gone from, pokey supports like the Zyra to now full tank supports in the bot lane in the Nautilus and the Braum. Both the supports going back to the champions they won on so far in the game. So
interesting to see, especially in these series. It's one of the reasons why I wish that we could get into more 3 and 5 game series in Vantage. I know that people have lives and that's very difficult to do, but you see these little adaptations moving throughout series, and we went from one style of support to these very tanky supports. It warms my heart to see people adapting. That's all.
And this is particular on the side of actually both teams, as they normally ran in the semifinals, squishy supports.
It's the meta right now.
I guess. I mean, I guess Braum and Nautilus both did show up for on their teams and won game, but TSM, Red Rose got wins on the Rakan in semis in the Bard, whereas Schmeck also got a win on Soraka as well as his Braum.
Soraka. Oh boy. Soraka games are so boring to cast. a second on that, like, it's just, nobody ever dies. It's just like casting Lulu. Like...
Now with the side of Outcast here, they've now switched over to the Renekton. Now a lot of their last 2 games, they've gone for a lot of the heavy split out of the top lane. Renekton can do the heavy split. He's going to be able to, bully out Galio somewhat.
I think Renekton's going to be heavily favored in this lane if he plays it correctly. Yeah, especially with the showing that top laner is shown in this matchup. $3 bill is shown in this matchup against Aileron Roll. Sorry, I completely spaced for a second. He's shown that he's been able to outlane and outperform Aileron Roll pretty much throughout all stages of the game. I think he's just a stronger top laner, not to say anything badly about Aileron Roll, right? Just that seems to be the performance that we've seen, and I think that giving him another lane-dominant champion is just going to exacerbate that issue that Claptrap has had trying to deal with him. I don't know where they're going to go now that they don't have like now they've got a $3 bill on someone who isn't a scaling split pusher but is in fact an early game dominator. I'm not sure how well this game's going to go.
Survive.
For, Claptrap. Yeah.
Claptrap is just got to be like Aileron Roll. You're going to have to give up. If you just survive. If we reach that 20-25 minute mark where Aileron Roll is able to get to his second tank item, Renekton at that point is going to start to slow down, start to fall off. He may get his outer tower. He may get his second tier tower. But going for that inhibitor tower like he did on the Yorick, or trying to split push as hard as he did on the Yorick, I don't think that's going to be as successful with this Renekton. He's going to have to transition into team fights, and we didn't particularly see a lot of that out of $3 bill in games 1 and 2.
No, we didn't. But he was dominant in his lane phase. It's like the whole reason that we're having this discussion, right? I think that moving into the mid game, he sort of gimped what potential he had on the Yorick as Renekton. But I think that he has a much stronger chance to start snowballing this game and use his lead as Renekton. So it's sort of the catch-22, right? You pick an early game champion, you start to fall off late game. You pick a mid-game split push, late game champion, and your early game isn't as great, right?
Renekton does have some escapability here. So let's run down the rosters here for our Game 3 between Team Outcast and Claptrap. On the side of Outcast, we got $3 bill up in top lane on Renekton, Switchy playing Jungle Lee Sin, CLG Black Rose on the AP mid Cassiopeia, Santa's Helper Elf on AD carry Lucian, TSM Red Rose on that support Nautilus. Aileron role is leading the charge for Claptrap up in top lane on Galio. Niblum is now switched over to Master Yi jungle. Lord Gemini returned as Echo mid lane. CG Wetham is AD carry Caitlyn. And Schmeck is playing support Braum. And we think there's a little pause there. We should be jumping in.
I mean, and obviously $3 bill has the best Renekton skin. So it's like plus 10 to dexterity, right?
Something. Toy Renekton is a good Renekton skin. I am still slightly in favor of Lifeguard Renekton as my personal favorite, but Toy would definitely be second place.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Now, I've seen a lot of Master Yi's in solo queue. They do one of two things. They farm jungle, lane minions, champions, towers, and everything, or they die a lot. There's not a whole lot of mix, right?
Yeah.
It's a feast or famine type of champion, where Lee Sin can also be kind of feast or famine in solo queue, but I think that's a lot more to do with the technical skills of Lee Sin and also a little bit of technical skills of Master Yi than it is the necessity. He still adds at least the ability to kick someone in the late game, either in Peel or Engage, where Yi is just straight out go, 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 go.
Right. I think it really is going to come down to Switchy's mechanical ability on this champion. We said that he put a lot of time in on it, but what does that mean, right? Does that mean that he's consistently carrying on it? Does that mean that he is able to hit his insects? We don't know. We haven't seen it. So I'm interested to see what he's able to pull off in the mid game and see if he actually has mastery of the champ.
Now, the Caitlyn Braum did a fake leash for Master Yi at blue buff and showed up to lane slightly late here to the Lucian Nautilus who were pushing in. But Galio also leashed hard for Master Yi at red buff, so I'm not sure if, Outcast knows exactly where Yi is at the moment, but they should definitely know that there are some mind games being played.
Right.
And we're just sort of letting the farming in back and forth being shown so far in the lanes. Let's see where I think Yi is going to go up, and it looks like Aileron roll with that Galio pushed in pretty hard here early on, and Stitchies can just walk up with the ward hop and get in, and Aileron roll misses, makes him dodge the Q, and takes a lot of auto attack damage, but was able to miss out on most of that Q damage coming out early from the Lee Sin is pretty impactful.
It's the pressure. We've seen this pretty much every game. You know, they've come up and given Dollar Bill a couple of ganks, given him some trade. It hasn't always resulted in a kill or a flash, but it has always provided pressure. And that is sort of one of the strengths of this team, is that they're able to use $3 Bill as a strong source of pressure throughout the entire game.
It does look like the Lucian is doing a lot better job at harassing the Caitlyn, and I think that has to go to the fact that they were able to get the level 2 and go for an all-in trade, even though they think they hooked the Braum to start off with, as, you know, he's just landing just enough poke on this Caitlyn that they're in trouble now at the moment. Gallo actually had just backed the lane and said, I'm not dealing with this. Now he's being frozen on his side of the tower. So the hook goes in from Nautilus onto the Braum. And Lucian's going to dash in and not actually lay. There's one auto down onto the Braum with the passive stacks, as Lee Sin is picking up yet another Scuttle Crab. Now he hasn't backed yet. Master E has already done a full clear, looking to go for his second clear, even after picking up his jungle item. The red smite.
Oh, and that's just the difference in the styles, right? Like Lee Sin's roaming around, trying to find pressure, trying to find opportunities, and Master Yi is farming.
Yep.
Oh, that was such a good dodge by Lord Jeff. Using the phase dive to actually change his path and then walk back the most direct way to get it out of that situation. That was really good.
So Lee Sin has shown up in 3 lanes now. He poked his head down real quick in bot lane and has only burnt the flash on Echo, and is going back for another gank again. I think he's feeling the pressure and the need, the necessity to have an early impact while Master Yi is farming, because if he keeps running around like this, he's already a level down. He's already, down over 10 CS. Now that's jungle creeps, but Yi is doing exactly what he wants. His lanes are fine without him, and he's just, looking to power up.
We see a CS advantage coming up for $3 Bill once more. He's going to be up about 10 CS by the time that he CS's all these minions that are currently pushing under his tower.
And as we touched on, yeah, that was the strength for $3 Bill coming in, was that laning phase, right? And in game 1, it absolutely crushed. In game 2, it put him in a bad situation, as Echo may have to burn his ult. He does here, is not to go down to the poison damage from Cassiopeia, as he's getting the not as good as trades in this game as he did in game 1. Burned through all of his potions, has to use his ult defensively. Lee Sin just made a return trip to top lane on this Galio, and Galio, with the good ward placement, was able to back off, not have to burn his flash here. So Alon Roll, while you mentioned is down the CS at the moment, is actually, staying caught up in level, and is in a decent position here to just sort of hang out now that he's hit 6. His laners have hit 6, and we keep touching base. Lee Sin has now made multiple trips to lane, and he's every time he does it and is not finding any success in anything other than burning one flash in mid lane, he's following further and further behind, other than he is getting those scuttle crabs, which is, important in the vision control.
Well, it's not necessarily falling behind as long as you're using your time effectively. I have to talk to people about this all the time when I'm and it's just you can have ganks that don't turn around for something that is tangible, but still be good for pressure, right? And those are the ganks that Switchy has been really providing lately. He's been making a lot of the kills on his own personal plays on the enemy jungler early on in the game.
Well, we switch over to mid lane. Lord Gemini makes Cassiopeia burn the ult and the flash turn around. The grounded actually is going to come out in the favor as Lee Sin's going to show up. Echo's going to go in there, and he's going to get hit by the Q. Lee Sin with the auto attack just in time. Red burn damage as well. We were talking about making those ganks count, even if it's just relieving pressure or putting some more on. Lee Sin comes up with first blood. Junglers are 3-0 on the blue side for first blood this game, in this series.
Yeah, it's really been the junglers dictating both of these games. I mean, you see it was obviously the Kazakhs picks last time, but the last 2 games. But yeah, it's the junglers.
Oh,
have
Master
been the
Yi's going to
ones
go in
driving
onto this
action.
Lee Sin. It is a 6-versus-6 battle. Red burst versus red buff here. As the calling's going to come out, Master Yi's going to flash over the wall. Flash hook by Nautilus. Niblum went in without the support of his bot lane. They were pushed almost into tower. They weren't able to do that with the jungler down. Double buffs now going over the Santa's helper. That's going to be a free fire Drake. This is not starting out in the last couple of minutes the way Claptrap won.
Also, $3 bill is in fact using appropriately, at least that time.
Hecko got grounded while trying to go in to prevent that dragon from going down. And yeah, as you said, yes, getting that black cleaver early gonna help him out a lot.
And for those that are curious, when I say that he's using his combos appropriately, it means that he's using his dash, he's auto W canceling his W animation with his Q, and then getting another auto and dashing out. That's your perfect trade on Renacted. It's a lot of damage, and it's nearly impossible to trade back with him.
Now Caitlyn gets hit by yet another hook and has had to flash out as the Lucian was looking to go all in and actually tries to as well. The Lucian in and out poke has absolutely been ridiculous in the spot lane, allowing him to get almost double the CS as the gank up in top lane goes awry on the side of Niblum as Renekton's going to able to solo out. Cassiopeia roamed up here as well. I wonder if Master Yi walked over a ward and was seen, because Cassiopeia walked a long way to get there just in time for that kill. And with the top half of the map down, Caitlyn being absolutely chunked out, only at 50 CS. Echo down with his 2 deaths and now down 2 levels. Claptrap is collapsing upon themselves.
Yeah, I'm not unsure of what exactly is going on. It just seems like a lot of little mechanical mistakes are happening right now. So just some bad decisions, giving Santa's helper else those double buffs. It's going to allow him to push this tower so hard and so fast with the red buff. The pressure of a blue buff Lucian, you don't see it very often because you don't want it to happen.
Well, that pressure allowed them to bank the Caitlyn back. Braum stuck around trying to be greedy to protect this tower, and Nautilus tanked it up as they tower dove the Braum. Got that kill on that. Almost laid a ton more poke damage on this Caitlyn. Tower got taken down to less than half health as we're going to swap over to Lee Sin. Maybe he's going to run into Master Yi here, and they're going to fight it out. Nope. Ward hops away as Echo has been chunked down to about a quarter of his health. He's going to need some Yi help. And with no pressure from Yi in any of the lanes, Lee Sin's been able to do whatever he wants. And as soon as his laners get ahead, Master Yi not showing up to do anything absolutely has crushed his team.
Right, and that's the thing that I'm saying. Switchy doesn't have to outfarm, man. He's not going to. So why would he try? He's just going to run around. It's also the point that I brought up in this last game, is that the jungle is structured in such a way right now that in another kill going down in the bot lane, just really simple. Nautilus has ulti. Why are you face checking a bush? But you can literally just roam around, gank the crap out of everything, and still be able to recover your levels. Because of how much catch-up XP the jungle actually gets. It gives more rubber banding effect than lane minions. It's really, really difficult to deal with, and it's something that high elo junglers really abuse.
So as we see both the mid laner and the top lane burn their teleports to get back to lane, but Lord Gemini landed on that grounding, wasn't able to get out of it, got hit by a couple of Qs and some E's from Cassiopeia down to like less than half his health. All of this is happening. $3 bill. Saw Master using the bottom half of the map, went in and stole the red buff, and is now using that plus his advantage in level and strength right now with the full black cleaver to just absolutely crush in on Alien Roll. Now, Master Yi shows up, but you're 2 levels down, and he has red buff. The slice and dice comes through, takes out one. $3 bill is probably going to turn this into a double kill. He is. Braum is not in time. And Schmeck, I don't think you want to be here either, buddy, as Echo's going to go down in the mid lane to Lee Sin. Exhaust comes out and the ult. Okay, $3 bill. That was getting really greedy with that tower dive. This entire time, Caitlyn's been trying to get CS in the bot lane, but the Lucian that got the early double buffs and the tanky Nautilus are going for yet another tower dive, and that's going to be another kill. This game is quickly getting out of hand. And Outcast looks like to be, they're going to run away with this. 11-0. They're up almost, 9K in gold. They've already taken 1 dragon. They've taken 1 tower. They're almost down with the second one in mid. The first tower in mid and the first tower in top lane. And we haven't even had the second dragon spawn yet.
Right, and I think that this is like what I was talking about, the $3 bill, like fully, right? Like, he was able to apply so much pressure on the champion in lanes that he should theoretically be losing or going even in. You give him an early lane bully, he can just take off and take over the game.
And now a stolen blue buff onto Lucian. And with the Blade of the Ruined King, looks like he may be going into the Black Cleaver as well. Nautilus is going to go in, just pops the ultimate on Echo, and the grounding is going to keep him in place for Cassiopeia. I think this is the AoE from Nautilus took that kill. That's okay. You're 2-0-4 on the support. Just go ahead and mow those down as you got your 80 carry up 2 levels and nearly 75 CS. Great flash.
It's really great play coming out from just all of the players on the team right now. They're really working as a unit, and they're all making good, smart, calculated plays. There hasn't been one thing that I've seen in this game that was actually just that questionable,
And with this aggressive playstyle that they've seemed to pulled out in Game 1 from their laners here, and Claptrap trying to just play into it and trying to get anything back that they can. They're just feeding the beast right now. And when I say beast, I mean everyone. I mean Lucian 6-0-2, Cassiopeia 0-0-4, but is up a good 50 CS. Renekton 4-0-0, also up almost 50 CS. It's the only one down CS is Lee Sin, but his, like you said, that impact of relieving the pressure when it was needed in those lanes, and then finally getting that first kill. It's snowballed from there.
Especially in 5, you've got to have faith that what you're doing matters, right? It can feel very disappointing or frustrating when you don't have ganks turning around, and this is something that a lot of junglers struggle with in solo queue. They feel like they're not being impactful because their ganks aren't turning. You're doing something, right? You're causing the enemy to have to react and play with fear. And eventually, you're going to get something if you're out pressuring the jungler. And that's why farming junglers are not currently at.
And with the impact we see here, it's really rough. Now, as Echo is burning everything to get the first kill, does get the first kill, Lord Gemini, taking down Cassiopeia. But Lucian's become godlike with that, and the Culling's just going to absolutely rip through half of Caitlyn's health. And they're now going to focus in on the tower. Santa's Helper getting really ballsy, tower diving a Braum Caitlyn. Not sure if that was the best decision. He's going to go down. They're taking some risks here, which, is probably not the best idea, as they probably want to try and, this is the final game of the championship match. I know that they're really far ahead. They're up almost, 12K here, but if they do not play this properly, they can go down really fast as the Lee Sin kit goes out. There's the Nautilus ult, as well as Lee Sin really wants to get in or escape from this Master Yi, and he will. Okay, if you're Claptrap, you've lost all your outer towers, you've lost 2 dragons, you're down 15, you're down 11K, and you just looking for picks like that?
You're just looking for picks. You want to take even trades, and you want to try and close this gold gap, because eventually, if you keep bouncing your waves into your carries, if you keep taking even trades, you're going to get to a point that you're going to have item breaks. Once you get even item breaks, you'll be fine. You get through this early game, you deal with some of this pressure, it's going to be okay. There is a light at the end of the tunnel for Claptrap. It's just a really long ways away.
Well, yeah. Echo is going to, try and chase on the Cassiopeia, but Renekton is here as well. As there's the grounding, he has to actually ult back. He did not have his jump as the root comes out from Nautilus and Renekton. So much damage in CC from those two champions right now. Lucian had finished off the Master Yi, trying to take Scuttle Crab by a dragon. I do not think that is a place where you can go. You need to be roughly right outside your out tower, and there's Caitlyn way too close, not behind her towers when there are 3 enemies there and a full cannon minion wave with the hook and knot, and now that tower is going to go down. The turtling is not happening.
Yeah, you need to be taking whatever's free and safe. If you are 100% going, not like if it is not 100% free and safe, you don't take it at this point. You just don't. You are at that point in the game. You cannot afford.
Galio's going to come in and actually take out the Lee Sin with the ult. Is going to flash in with the taunt. Is now Master Yi is going to try and get in at some extra damage. But Renekton's taking down another tower. Yi Sin looking for another Q, and there's Blade of the Rune King. Is Brahms going to prevent the Lucian from going in, which allows Master Yi to get in and take out the Cassiopeia. Brahms going to go down for that, but he did allow his carry jungler to start getting some more carry. Echo is going to get pulled in by the Nautilus, but the culling to the face from Lucian absolutely wrecking, as we now see Galio in here with the taunt, but he just has Sunfire Cape for armor. Caitlyn's only level 9, only has a Hurricane right now in a pickaxe, no real damage. Nautilus will fall for that, but so will the tank Galio. Echo's just going to try and get enough, and with the help of Master Yi, finally takes down Lucian. They prevented any of their inhibitor, or I guess the inhibitor from going down, but the tower did go in front of it. For your level 14 Renekton with your ult running, oh, the flash and trap saves Caitlyn's bacon.
I mean, how many times has this Lucian had double buffs this game?
2 or 3 times. It's been a lot. As Renekton finishes off the Caitlyn and flashes out that Braum stun, being a little bit too baity in that instance. So,
I mean, really well played by $3 build there. Like, he realizes the damage and his cooldowns and just no fear whatsoever.
Well, it helps being 4 levels up on the 80 carry.
So, you 6-0 is 2, he has 2 HP items that also provide damage. He's got the Ninja Tabi to be able to deal with the Caitlyn and the Yi. All of them are so big. They're all so big.
And now they're going to go in. Yi and Echo are on a killing squad. They do not care right now. They're just going to go in for kills and try and get some damage done that way. As Cassiopeia is going to get a nice grounding on 4 members. And Renekton is so ridiculous right now. Takes down the Yi. Caitlyn's here in the ulting in the middle of the fight. Not sure the best. Renekton gets in on the Braum. Galio is going to go down on the back end. And we have a split push support Nautilus and bot lane with, I think, 2 or 3 minion waves. As Lucian's going to go right over the traps. Slice in from Renekton with the Q. That's a dead 80 carry. Nautilus is, take out this tower with 4 people dead. That's 1 inhibitor tower down, 2 inhibitor towers down, 3 inhibitor towers down. That's the first inhibitor that's going to drop. If they get greedy, they'll probably go for 2 more. I don't know if they're going to be able to get all 3, but if they do, pre-25 minutes, it's over.
I mean, the support is split pushing and is an actual threat.
I mean, he's got Sunfire Cape.
That's what I'm saying. But that's as much as a top lane Nautilus would have at this point. He might have another tank item, which is just covered by the Sightstone, and it's insane.
Well, Renekton did finish off that 3rd inhibitor tower. Third inhibitor itself, as we see the grounding and the stun coming out on the Galio. who hasn't had a chance to pretty much do anything to support his teammates other than the one ult in mid, and there's just not enough damage right now from the Echo. They're just feeding into it. They're trying their best.
Santa's helper elf has been playing well, but that isn't the only thing that's been happening in this game. Like, he's only been fed because of the way that Nelp gave him double buff. The plays that Red Rose made, the hooks, the ult, everybody on this team has been playing exceptionally well throughout this game, and I'm really excited if all of these players can continue to play at this level. I think that all of them should be able to climb.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a culmination of landing the right skills and being perfect, and the other part of it is this is the best of 3. And it does seem to have a great impact. And sometimes when you don't play a lot of best of 3s, or maybe you don't play as many games in a row, and you've lost your focus this late, and it just seems to be in favor of Outcast. And they were the #1 seed going into the playoffs. They had a 90% win rate in their division, and they, did go down in an epic game 2 from Claptrap with a good game there. But the winners of the Helios division are going to be Team Outcast with an extremely dominating performance in the final game.
Wait a second.
So we're just going to quick as we take a quick look here at the stats. It's going to be pretty one-sided, as the result of that game was one-sided, but the effort for both these teams was season long. It was something where both teams came in, grew and improved, changed out some members. We had some subbing happening, which is unfortunate, but in the best of times we have to do what we can. So with that all being said here, it was a fantastic series to watch and to spectate. I know, the game 3 was not the way that we wanted to have it end up, but it does happen that way. Sometimes there are stomps at every level and at every stage.
I'm unsure what else to say about that game. They just all played well. It's just one of the cases of every lane got ahead, and just really well played by them. Really well played. Their rotations were crisp. Their laning was crisp. I have no complaints from them, and I can't say that Claptrap necessarily did anything definitely wrong. I mean, there definitely was some mistakes that occurred, but at the same time, once they hit a point of critical mass, it's very difficult to do anything to come back in those types of games.
And this is kind of where the structure is setting up. They just didn't, as a team, when you start to fall behind drastically, sometimes, they went after kills, and sometimes it's you don't just farm creeps. Just do your best to farm the creeps. You'd be surprised at how much damage the creeps deal, even in mid to late game, on towers and structures. And if you farm the creeps and they can't get there, that's sometimes going to be your best option.
I completely agree. It's a difficult position to be in for sure, but very well played game. All 3 games were very entertaining to watch, if nothing.
Mm-hmm. So, just like last night, I have sent an invite to anyone on the winning team there, if they want to come in and just sort of talk about their experience they had in the season, or talk about their experience they had in the final matchup here in the championship, and give them a congratulation, just a little congratulations. The offer is still open here for the next couple of minutes. I put it in the Slack there. So if any of them want to come on over, that's great. If not, I just want to just say, thanks everyone for watching. If you stuck in last night and enjoyed an epic three game match in the Galactic Division, and you return for another division final. This time in the Helio Division, we had another really good 3-game set here, showing a lot of different picks, a lot of different play styles. That was actually the first match of the playoffs, or that game was the first match of the playoffs that I've casted that Rift Herald wasn't taken. But that was also a point in the game where I don't think it was necessary for them to take it, and they didn't need any more snowballing. But they were able to finish it out relatively strong in under 25 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Excuse me. Rift Herald really wasn't necessary.
Yep.
It really wasn't.
And it looks like we got one person
What up, guys?
maybe joining us in. Hi!
Hey there.
Welcome!
$3 bill.
$3 bill. Also, Blue Rose.
Blue Road, yeah.
Okay. Talk about, first, congratulations on the victory and being champions of the Helio Division. How does it feel?
That's fun, man. Feels good.
Of
Feels
course it
exciting.
feels
It's my
good.
first
Winning
season.
feels good.
It's my first season, and getting to meet some new people because, I only knew a couple guys on this team. Also, you got to build relationships with a lot of people in your division. So I do OQ a lot with other people in the division. So it was good, man. I like it. I like the community from Vantage League, especially, given the overall League of Legends community can be pretty salty. So, meeting people through Vantage League that can help you out, teach you things, also to do OQ with. It's pretty fun, man. I really enjoyed it. I'll be back next season. Hopefully we'll get moved up, a division.
And that's what happened to the winners of this division last time, Crimson Hellkites. So if you're seeking that, I'm sure that arrangements could be made.
We scrimmed against people in our division and 2 divisions up. We beat a couple teams in scrims and we split a couple in scrims. So I think we can hang with the bigger boys.
It's always...
there's definitely something to strive for.
Yep. And the Hellkites are a good example to look up to because, like you said, they won this division last split. They made it to the playoffs in the division they moved up to this season and went into a 3-game split in their playoff games. They did go down in the semifinals. They weren't able to reach the finals of their division, but it was a really good series to watch and a really good to see growth from their players from even 2 splits ago for a lot of those guys come in and take it as far as they can and to continue its growth. It's really good to see, and it's talk about a little bit. You said you knew a couple of the guys coming in, and you talked a little bit about the growth and the scrimming of the other teams. Is there like a person in particular, or something that you like really learned in a 5 team that you just didn't understand or grasp just playing solo queue?
Yeah, so I would say that, a couple of the guys, so I knew Pink Rose because they played last year, and people like Avante Guarde, DJ Research, Death by Cows, those are some real life friends, some good friends of mine. They were all on the same team last year, and they would practice against a couple of us, and that's how I kind of got to know Pink Rose and Black Rose, and they asked me to come and play with them this year. As far as like learning things, so like with it being a team game, I tried to. like York, is a pick that you guys seen me play a few times. Like I didn't play York until Vantage League because I started wanting to learn more diverse top laners that could also be good team picks because of it being more of a team game than like a solo duo queue where you're literally there's some team game involved, but you're still trying to carry the game to try to grind your way out. So being forced to learn different champions so I could be a better overall team player but also champions that, hey, if I get behind, I can still play. Um, just trying to be like more solid overall because if I want to be the reason why we win. I don't want to be the reason why we lose.
Right, right. And I think that in the games that you guys did win, you were a big contributing factor to your guys' wins. I had a little bit of a theory craft around the Renekton pick, but can you explain sort of your team's motivation in giving you an early lane bully as opposed to the York moving into game 3? Did your team feel like they needed to give you a little bit more of a chance to carry in the early game, or was it a decision that you made for yourself?
Well, mean, I didn't want to play York in the second game. I didn't think that would have been a good for the Lysandra, but given our team comp, I mean, I felt like with my champ pool and everything else, that's something that we kind of had to play. The Renekton pick was really because of the Master Yi came out, and you kind of knew like he was going to go Galio. He likes to play Galio. I think when we played him, in the regular season, he played Galio once, and I took Darius versus him. But I wanted a champion that could be, after pretty much my bad play in game 2, I wanted a champion where I could just be a little bit more aggressive. Also, get another hard CC for a Master Yi because you don't want a Master Yi to take the game away. I mean, Master Yi can take a hold of a game if you don't have enough hard CC. And with
Right.
our picks already coming out, we had the Lee Sin already out. We had the Nautilus. I just didn't think we had enough. So the logical, and with my champion pool, the only thing I knew to play would have been Renekton.
It definitely fell into that that team comp there in the game. So you're the guys are the champions. You're looking at coming back next split. What are you looking forward to? Are you looking for, like you said, either expanding your champion pool, more team stuff, or are you looking at just the competition and the drive in it that is keeping you going? What are you looking forward to doing in the next session?
I'm looking forward to, hopefully we'll move up division. I like our team. I feel like our whole entire team will come back. We kind of had a switch in the middle of the season. We have Switchy, who's our jungler now, and he's actually a good friend of mine. And I like Switchy being on the team because his knowledge of the game is very deep. Our jungler, and he's really good at shot calling. And I'm hoping to see like with a full season of us playing together. Obviously we're going to play together up until the season starts. Us building, some chemistry to see if we can, dominate the next division and keep learning, keep being forced to learn new champions so we can get good team comps to be competitive. Because I watch those games that you guys stream, and you see different types of picks coming out. You see different types of bans. A lot of different team comps. So like you're going to be forced to challenge yourself and learn different things. And like even stuff as small as vision, like we don't do a good job with vision, but that stuff gets more important. A lot more things get more important when you move up the vision. So being challenged to learn new things, being forced to learn new things. I'm very competitive. I like to win. One of the things that I noticed, like tracking the KDAs and the divisions, like I wanted to be the KDA leader in our division. And, but also winning as a team, winning the championship as a team was the most important thing. So, but being able to do both is very rewarding, but also trying to be able to do that at the next level, it's a whole new set of challenges, whole new set of champions I'll have to learn. So with that and us, with our team, I mean, we have a real solid team, our support, our ADC, our mid laners, they're really good group of guys that that's all I do is play with them. So having that full team together for a full season, the camaraderie, I'm interested to see like how we can do that because I'm hoping that kind of stuff. Like I notice it shows up in my solo duo queue. Trying to climb out of the silvers and stuff like that because I have a lot more. Like I even more team oriented now, in solo queue because of it all.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the best things about fives. It teaches you a lot more about how you should be approaching the game, especially when you have a jungler that has a lot more game knowledge and has a good sense of tracking during the game. You start to be a lot more aware of where the enemy jungler is at any given point, especially as a top laner, which is a huge boon to your ability to play the game and be able to play safe. So I think there's a lot of great skills and things that you can learn coming out of fives, not just playing around in solo queue. And I think that's one of the great things about Vantage, that it really gives people a friendly forum to sort of develop those skills without having to worry about getting flamed, or you get into a scrim and everybody's on the same page, and you can make mistakes and talk to your scrim opponents and learn things about yourself and your own play that you didn't necessarily know.
Yeah, and if you take it seriously enough, you're going to challenge yourself to go outside your comfort zone and learn stuff. Like I don't pick up champions that fast as like a lot of other people do. So like York, I'd probably have to play him 30 games before I felt comfortable with him. And
Right, I'm the same way. I really have to be in depth with a champion to feel like I'm competent enough to play them in ranked, which makes transitioning lanes very difficult for me.
but
Okay,
yeah,
so first we would like to thank you, $3 bill, for stepping in representing your team. And congratulations once again upon winning the Helio division.
no, I appreciate it. Nice job streaming. I like how you guys stream. You guys do a very good job with it.
Thank you
Yeah, we
very much.
try.
We do our best here. And Styx, do you want to say any few words before we get the final send off here in promotions?
No, I hope that everybody enjoyed the stream, that my commentary was somewhat useful or informative, and that we can continue to build this community here as Vantage and support each other in our growth as players.
Can I give one feedback though?
Yeah.
Because when the first time like you guys streamed us, I normally do pretty good in game, except for a few games. I didn't do as well, but I was thinking like, man, it'd be really nice if I know I give good commentary. You guys talk about the game very good, but there's still a good, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes before the next game starts. If y'all would just go down each player and like give feedback, because I'll listen up until the game starts and I turn it completely off, so that's not background noise. But like, if you guys would just go down like player by player and be like, hey, here's some good things. There's some things I would work on if I were them, because you guys are levels above us, and any type of like criticism, constructive feedback, I always take it seriously, and I always try to improve on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's actually really helpful. We'll definitely try to incorporate that moving forward. And I mean, if it comes down to like specific mechanics or games, there's always people in Axe community that will go over your replays, or that will sit down and give you coaching. I am always around and available to try and do that. I'm going to have less time once I school, but I'm always around as well if you have any specific questions. And I think that us as a community are good, but we'll definitely take that into account in casting forward.
Well, you guys do a great job, man. You guys sound like you're meant to do it. Yeah, y'all have the voices for it for sure.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you as well. So, kind of speaking on that effort, there are definitely people out there in the community looking to help others, and it's literally just asking someone from either your same division, another division, it doesn't matter, up or down. If you are struggling against a champion, there's someone out there that means that. Or if you are, looking to play a certain role or learn a certain aspect, whether it be your own or someone else's, there's someone there in the Slack that's willing to help. And if you're looking for these games or anything, check out the streams and highlights where all of these will be posted, and definitely check out the others divisions to learn about the mini metas that each division created during the season. And as we put in the final plugs here, Chase has already said that the opening signups for next split you can start to do the signups now. And that looks like the first full week in June, or the second full week in June, right around June 10th seems to be a date on the Vantage calendar that they have marked as a date of importance for either signups or beginning the next season. So make sure you follow the information coming out in that general tab coming at you. If you are new to Vantage and one of your buddies told you to watch this finals because they played in it and you stuck around through the interview, thank you, and keep watching. Maybe join the community as well to that. Now we've done the division finals. I know Gelati is working on getting another one of the Supernova division. Had their second semifinals the other day, and we'll probably also be bringing you the Supernova division finals when they occur later on. Maybe not this week, maybe next week. It depends on when he can either get them casted or when they get played. Scheduling issues can occur. And we still have the Stellar Division finals left to be played as well. So definitely be looking for more of that action coming at you before we wrap up the entire league as a whole. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I want to thank first, Team Outcast and in Claptrap for giving us a 3-game series tonight. Stixon Cross, my co-caster this evening, and Vantage Esports for putting this together. And one more thank you to Riot Games for allowing me to use your free sweet music. Good night, everyone.
All right, have a good night, everybody.